It's against removing their children from the classroom during term time, with the threat of legal proceedings if they do. But Chair of Governors Kevin Hunter says that Mrs Winder has served the school and thousands of children well for over 14 years and has made the request for personal reasons which they've judged appropriate. It's understood it's the first time she's requested leave during term time.
The Energy Secretary Ed Davey says there's no risk to electricity supplies following a major fire at the Didcot B power station in Oxfordshire. 25 fire engines were used to bring the flames of the natural gas power plant under control. Daniel Chapman lives nearby.
When the wind was picking up, it was like the fire was spreading. It seemed like it was getting worse for some time. I was really worried. All my neighbours, they were scared, and the teenagers, they were all worried as well.
David Cameron's being warned not to alienate Eastern European countries as he tries to make a new deal with Brussels. The President of the European Commission says Britain would have zero influence on the world stage if it voted to leave the EU. Dr Fran Burwell from the Atlantic Council think tank believes he has a point.
It may be too much to say that Britain will have zero influence, but clearly Britain's influence, if it were to leave the EU, would be much reduced, not only in Europe, but I would say also in Washington. You know, President Barroso has about 2 more weeks left in office. So I think it was a time when President Barroso felt that he must make clear his views on what is no doubt a key issue facing the EU.
The government supporting a bill that would allow terminally ill patients to be given untested medicines from next year. Doctors would have to get the agreement of another specialist before the drugs could be used. In sport, Andy Murray has beaten David Ferrer to win the Vienna Open. The victory means that Murray will move into the 8th and final qualifying position for the World Tour finals. And the weather will be bright and sunny with showers at times today. Top temperatures around 15 degrees Celsius. That's 59 degrees Fahrenheit. You can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Here's one for the hipsters.
Zilch, Mr. Davalina, Mr. Bob Davalina, Mr. Davalina, Mr. Bob Davalina.
Zilch, China Clipper calling Alameda. China Clipper calling Alameda.
Zilch,
China Clipper calling Alameda.
Self-defense. Never mind the furthermore the plea of self-defense. Never mind the furthermore the plea of self-defense.
It is of my opinion that the people are intending. It is of my opinion that the people are intending. It is of my opinion that the people are intending. It is of my opinion that the people are intending. It is of my opinion that the people are. It is of my opinion that it is of my people that the
offense. Never mind the furthermore the plea of self-defense.
It is of my opinion that the people are intending. It is my opinion that the people are intending. It is my opinion that the people are intending. It is my opinion that the people are intending. It is my opinion that the people are intending. It is my opinion that the people are intending. It is my opinion that the people are intending. It is my opinion that the people are intending. It is my opinion that the people are intending.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Today on BBC Three Counties Radio.
From 9.
The JVS Show.
With the big phone-in, the hottest topic of the day, and your consumer problems. From 12.
Nick Coffer.
I'll be meeting the Gales, a couple from Buckingham who've taken part in BBC Two's series The Kitchen.
From 3.
Roberto Perroni.
I'm here with a roundup of the day's news, the latest travel, and your stories.
From 6.
Three Counties Sport.
With a look back at the weekend's action and taking a look at the grassroots sport across Beds, Herts and Bucks.
Today on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Feeling naughty today. I'm feeling very, very naughty. Oh, look, I can see Kath's naughty. What the hell are you doing, Boyle?
Pulling wires.
She's pulling wires. Insania. Kelly Betts, are you feeling naughty?
Yes.
Yeah, what should we do that's naughty?
Oh, I don't know.
Let's do I know what, let's do the show that we're contracted to do. It's quite naughty, isn't it? Is that naughty? Guys? Beulah? It turns out that actually abiding by a contractual obligation is not particularly... Are you feeling naughty, Justin?
Very, very naughty indeed.
What can we do that's naughty today?
Say something absolutely outrageous.
Yeah, I'm going to say something outrageous.
Yes.
Bums! Yeah, you like that? You like bums?
Liking that vibe.
Do you like bums?
Yes.
Outrageous. And all of that bants has just got me time enough to bring up the computer screen that I should have had up about 4 minutes ago. Coming up on the show today, new powers for PCSOs, term time holiday for headmistress, and big door bants from Barton Leclay. It sounds awesome!
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Bets.
I'm going to put in a song for you that I know that we both like, and I wanted it to be a surprise, but I have to ask you what it is. It's Fleetwood Mac, but it's their like really early bluesy stuff.
Oh, well.
Oh, that's it.
Well, it could still be a surprise.
Okay.
I don't know how you're going to dazzle my brain with facts. Hey, Justin!
You know this song, and you know what it does to me.
What does it do to you?
You know. You played it before. You had me on off the back of it. You know what this song does to me.
Gosh.
Take that risk if you want to.
Well, I have to go.
Just bearing in mind, I'm the first item, so just take that risk if you want to.
I rush over to my producer, Catherine Boyle. Do we dare take that risk?
Does he get Fleetwood Mac rage?
No, not rage.
Oh, he got a bit.
He got a bit. It's going to be a very naughty show. If you, Justin, we're going to do it to you.
Okay.
We're going to give it to you.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Well, we're not.
Just going to sit here patiently.
Just stay there a minute.
Don't move.
Don't go.
I really want this. Really want this.
Oh, here we go.
Come on, give it to me.
Gosh. Anticipation's building.
We're teasing you. It's like when the Beach Boys
please.
go on stage 15 minutes late. They're always going to go on 15 minutes late, but they've built the anticipation up. You ready?
Yeah.
Do you want to introduce it, Just?
Here's Fleetwood Mac, and this song is about to do something to me. Enjoy.
Can't help about the shape I'm in. I can't sing, I ain't pretty, and my legs are thin. But don't ask me what I think of you. I might not give the answers that you want me to. Now when I talk to God, I knew he'd understand. He said, stick by me and I'll be your guiding hand. But don't ask me what I think of you. I might not give the answer that you want me to.
I want to touch, I want to feel. You want to feel my arms? Why is it disturbing to see a man in a monkey onesie?
I'm now in the urinal section.
How you feeling, Dills?
Good. It kind of makes me high, makes me low, then it lifts me back up again. It just has this effect on my body which I can't really explain. I feel good though.
Really is a very powerful piece of music.
It is, absolutely.
Okay, well, we've got you. Are you able to do the story?
I think so, okay. just about.
By the way, I'm totally trolling. Let me finish the sentence. It's not a sad old woman. Well, in many ways it is. It's the sad old woman of radio. I'm trolling hard at the moment on Twitter. At Iain Lee, if you want to see me poning those losers.
Yeah, good for you.
Now, litterbugs and noisy neighbours of Bedfordshire, beware. From today, the county's police community support officers will have 4 more superpowers to deal with you. The force says that PCSOs will be able to make an even greater contribution to stamping out antisocial behaviour. Well, Justin Dealey is an antisocial expert. What are these new powers, Just?
4 new powers. Briefly, number 1, under new powers, PCSOs will be able to put a stop to environmentally antisocial behaviour, such as persistent noise pollution or fly tipping, by issuing new community protection notices. Number 2, the power to issue fixed penalties to anybody who breaches those notices, and offenders could end up in court if they don't pay. Number 3, the third power...
The power of love.
No, not the power of love. To issue fixed penalty tickets to anybody caught drinking or getting involved with nuisance gatherings in designated areas. Quite an interesting one, that one. They will have to be in breach of new public spaces protection orders, which will be imposed by local authorities. And lastly, 4, from today, they will also be able to apply for a dispersal order, as Chief Inspector Gavin Hughes Rowlands explains.
There's a power called the dispersal order, which is authorised by an inspector, and that would last for about 48 hours, and that would be used in response to increasing antisocial behaviour in a particular area. And that gives checks and balances to the power and makes sure that it's used proportionately, and that allows police officers and PCSOs to give notices to people to say that they must leave a particular area.
As we know from talking about this on the show before, people aren't necessarily convinced by PCSOs, are they?
No, not at all. I've been on the streets of Bedfordshire talking to people about this, and as soon as you mention PCSOs, straight away, people, they don't seem to have any respect. Here's what people had to say.
As far as I'm concerned, they can't do nothing. They ain't got any powers. They can't arrest you. They've got about as much power as me and you. As I'm talking to you right now, like you arresting me. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, you can do a citizen's arrest. But anyone can do that. Yeah. PCSOs, you know, I had one instance where I had a fight and I got beat up pretty bad, and a PCSO just rode past on his bike and didn't stop it or nothing.
Are they pointless?
I think they are, because all they can do is walk around and call for backup for a real police officer. That's it. Do you know what I mean? What is that? That's not a job. If that's a job, then, boy, I'll be a PCSO.
So, as somebody who lives in Bedfordshire, well, what's your thoughts on PCSOs?
Waste of money. They've got no rights to arrest or anything like that. Why have them? It's cheap labour.
So they don't reassure you at all?
No way at all. No way at all.
No, they're just people that walk around with a uniform on. They've got no powers whatsoever, really, have they?
I mean, everyone's saying exactly the same thing to me. So, are they completely pointless in our society right now, then?
Why not train them up and make them into real policemen? And then the crime will go down.
Damien, when you think about PCSOs, what's the first thing that comes into your mind?
A plastic police officer, really, not somebody who can actually do their job properly, because all they can do is hold you until certain police officers can actually come. So I don't really respect them too much, to be honest.
Well, these new powers then should put some of those thoughts at ease, Justin, because they are getting more powers. They can do things. What does Bedfordshire Police say?
Well, speaking about the new powers, Chief Inspector Hughes Rowlands, he said this is really good news for the public, as PCSOs will now be able to make even greater contributions to tackling antisocial behaviour in their neighbourhoods. That in turn will help reassure residents that Bedfordshire Police takes these matters extremely seriously. So he's obviously got a very positive spin on this, but the public's saying something completely different.
OK, what powers would you give a PCSO? 08459 455 555. I think I would give them the power of invisibility.
Well, I think quite simply, based on what you've heard, give them the power to actually arrest somebody.
More than invisibility?
Yes, more than invisibility.
Wow.
Yes,
Insania. And Justin, the fact that these PCSOs have got more powers, how does that make you feel?
And it just has this effect on my body which I can't really explain.
OK, thank you very much.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting off this morning with the trains and problems due to some overrunning engineering works on London Overground between Euston and Watford Junction. Services suspended at the moment. Also delays out of King's Cross on Great Northern due to this overrunning engineer works. Also severe delays at the moment on the Piccadilly line between Cockfosters and Acton Town. There's been a signal failure. Taking a look so far at the roads, and the Great North Road, do expect delays there approaching the Black Cat roundabout where the major roadworks continue. Also Milton Keynes on Standing Way at Newport Road, expect delays there due to some roadworks taking place. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Nicola. 08459 455 555. What powers would you give PCSOs? We've got invisibility. Anything else? 6:16. It's Monday the 20th of October. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC. There's a big stretch. Three Counties Radio. Community support officers in Bedfordshire have new powers to deal with antisocial behaviour. Elstow School in Bedfordshire is defending its decision to allow its head teacher to go on holiday during term time. And firefighters have been tackling a large blaze at the Didcot B power station in Oxfordshire.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Have you ever had the urge to change the world?
Bare faces unite. It's time to take off that mascara, wipe off your lipstick, ditch the makeup and don the paw. Join women across the UK and share your bare-faced moment. Bear with me and be a hero for BBC Children in Need.
Sexist.
Sign up and pledge your allegiance at bbc.co.uk/Pudsey.
OK, so that's what women can do. What can I do? Is I don't wear makeup because I'm not an idiot.
Also, really?
Sorry? Obviously,
Makeup, really?
Obviously,
That's the big sacrifice.
Obviously, it's a great idea, Catherine, because it's the BBC.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, what are gentlemen going to do? And what are ugly women going to do who shouldn't remove their makeup? What are you, for example, what are you two girls going to be doing?
We
don't wear makeup.
I missed that. I was doing some work.
We never wear makeup, do we? We're
just naturally.
We woke up like this.
Mascaraed.
That is terrifying. Really is.
What is the What is it though? I missed it.
Oh, for goodness' sake!
That's what Pudsey wants us to do. He wants to take the makeup.
Why don't Pudsey take his head off?
Why don't Pudsey take his bandage off?
Why don't Pudsey take his something else off? Why don't Pudsey? Hang on. Forget it.
One Tuesday, I'm looking tired and feeling quite sick. I felt like there was something missing in my day-to-day life. So I quickly opened the wardrobe, pulled out some jeans and a t-shirt that seemed clean, topped it off with a pair of old shoes that were ripped around the seams. And I thought, these shoes just don't suit me. Hey, I put some new shoes on and suddenly everything's right. I said, hey, I put some new shoes on and everybody's smiling. It's so inviting. No short on money but long on time. Slowly strolling in the sweet sunshine, and I'm running late and I don't need an excuse, 'cause I'm wearing my brand new shoes. Woke up late one Thursday and I'm seeing stars as I'm rubbing my eyes, and I felt like there were 2 days missing as I focused on the time. Then I made my way to the kitchen, but I had to stop from the shock of what I found. A room full of all of my friends, all dancing round and round. And I thought, hello new shoes, bye-bye blues. Hey, I put some new shoes on and suddenly everything is right. I said, hey, I put some new shoes on and everybody's smiling. It's so inviting. No short on money but long on time. Slowly strolling in the sweet sunshine, and I'm running late and I don't need an excuse, 'cause I'm wearing my brand new shoes. Take me wandering through these streets where bright lights and angels meet. Stone to stone they take me on. I'm walking till the break of dawn. Take me wandering through these streets where bright lights and angels meet. Stone to stone smiling, it's so inviting.
He hears something. Maybe you're a parent who has tried to get your kids off school during term time to go on a holiday or, I don't know, a funeral or something, and the school might have kicked up a bit of a fuss because the Department for Education brought in new rules, didn't they, to stop you, parents, taking your kids out of school in term time. Well, it left many of you working out whether the fines incurred would be worth paying, considering the savings you stood to make. We also heard from teachers who said it was only right that parents hung on for their holidays. After all, hey, the teachers have got to do it, haven't they? Haven't they, Kath? Oh, not the case for the headmistress of Elstow School, Jenny Winder. She's caused a bit... Both came out. She's caused a bit of a stir at the school gates by deciding to jet off for the Caribbean, or as the Americans call it, the Caribbean, days after her pupils returned from the Christmas break. Well, Catherine Boyler's been looking at this. So who is this head teacher? And tell me more about her holiday. It sounds lovely.
Well, it probably will be. It's in January, just after the kids get back from school.
Beautiful.
She is Jenny Winder. She works at Elstow School. It's a state primary. And Jenny's been there for some time. Now, according to a statement from Kevin Hunter, who's the chair of governors there, Mrs. Winder is a devoted, well-liked, extremely hard-working and effective head teacher who served Elstow School and thousands of children well for over 14 years. And as for this week off that Mrs. Winder's set to take in January, Kevin Hunter says it's happening in term time for personal reasons that we have judged appropriate. That's the Board of Governors. The shared focus of Mrs. Winder and the governing body is the continued provision of the highest standard of education for children at Elstow School.
How far away is this school from here?
It's Bedford way, so about 20 miles.
OK, we should send Justin down there at some point to speak to the mum, shouldn't we?
I think we will.
We've tried to contact Jenny Winder. What's she said?
Nothing back as yet, but we're hoping that she might get in touch this morning to put her side of things. And I can understand why she'd be reticent to do so, because her story's been all over the papers, including the Daily Mail, who've suggested there are some complaints of hypocrisy among the parents. But as we have no names, we don't know whether that's true or not. So
okay, we should send Justin down there to see what the mums and indeed the dads think. Elstow School, what does it say about kids being out of class during term time? What's their policy?
On the school's website, there's a very strict policy in place to deal with children's attendance, and it strongly urges parents to avoid taking family holidays during term time. As if they do, it won't be authorised. Indeed, the school reminds parents this type of absence could lead to legal proceedings.
I heard a thing on the radio the other day saying that there were less kids taking time off school, which implied this fine system was working. More and more parents are being fined, or more and more parents are keeping their kids in school to avoid the fine, aren't they?
Well, this is the thing, right? Since the rules were brought in about taking your child out of school during term time, the number of fines issued to parents across the 3 counties has doubled. But then it would, because they brought this policy in. So from a standpoint of nothing at all, of course it's going to be more than it was. In Bedfordshire, the number of fines being issued are among the highest in the country, though, and across the country, this is according to BBC research, almost 64,000 fines have been handed out. That's an increase of 70%. But it has to be said that, I mean, anecdotally, I know a number of parents have taken their children away during term time and there have been no fines issued, which kind of calls into question this idea that schools can no longer use their discretion. And when we approached the Borough Council on this matter in particular, they told us that individual requests for leave are a matter for the schools themselves to determine.
OK, well, there are lots of things here. Have you been able to take your children out of school during term time? Were you fined or not? 08459 455 555. Hey, if your kids go to this school, Elstow School, I'd love to know kind of what the gossip is, what people are saying at the school gates.
And have parents been fined at Elstow School? This is the thing, because if she is not fining parents and she's being understanding about parents taking their children away during term time, then surely, if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for her, isn't it?
08459 455 555. Stay there, Cash. We'll do the papers in a bit.
Right, okay.
Is that all right?
Yeah,
Cheers, my dears.
What you drinking? Rum or whiskey? Now won't you have a double with me? I'm sorry I'm a little late. I got your message, by the way. I'm calling in sick today. So let's go round for old time's sake. I'll never forget you. They said we never make it, my sweet joy. Always remember me. We were mischievous.
news for beds, cards and Bucks.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting off on the trains this morning, a few delays on London Overground. This is between Euston and Watford Junction due to some overrunning engineering works. Also severe delays on the Piccadilly line between Cockfosters and Acton Town. There's been a signal failure at King's Cross. Also delays on Great Northern out of King's Cross due to these overrunning engineering works. Having a look in Milton Keynes, building up a little on Standing Way at Newport Road due to those road works that are continuing. And the M25 heading anti-clockwise, looking quite slow now on the sensors between Junction 21 for the M1 and Junction 20 at Kings Langley. Also taking a look in Bricketwood, is very heavy at the moment on the North Orbital Road, just at Junction 21A for the M25. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and Bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6:30. I'm Lee Agnew. The headlines: community support officers in Bedfordshire have new powers from today to deal with antisocial behaviour. The force says it means PCSOs will be more effective in dealing with people causing a nuisance. Elstow School in Bedfordshire is defending its decision to allow its head teacher to go on holiday during term time. Jenny Winder's taking time off in January to go with her partner to the Caribbean. And firefighters from Buckingham have been helping to tackle a blaze at the Didcot B power station in Oxfordshire. Investigators are trying to determine how the fire started at the plant, which can supply power to 1 million homes. The weather will be bright and sunny with showers at times today. Top temperatures around 15 degrees Celsius. That's 59 degrees Fahrenheit.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The QPR boss Harry Redknapp has described his players as naive after they lost 3-2 to Liverpool. Liverpool snatched the points after the home side equalised twice. QPR remain bottom of the Premiership, but Redknapp insists he still has a future at Loftus Road.
It's all rubbish. You can only do what you can do with what you got, you know, and no disrespect, but 7 or 8 of that team that started today played in the Championship last year when we finished 4th from top, you know. And they've worked, you know, we had a couple of games away from home where I felt we, because of the way we tried to play, we'd set up to go well, and we really didn't manage to get after the ball.
There were victories for Luton Town, Stevenage and Wickham, and a goalless draw for the MK Dons. Watford atop of the Championship table after a 3-0 win at Sheffield Wednesday. And the new Hornets boss, Slavica Djukanovic, was pleased with the result.
It's good start. We was make good game, and especially we had some problem in first 15 minutes and last 15 minutes, but we catch the control in many minutes on the game, and from the beginning I must be happy what my team doing today in the match.
In tennis, Andy Murray has beaten David Ferrer to win the Vienna Open. The victory means that Murray will move into the 8th and final qualifying position for the World Tour Finals. He says he knows how important the match was to his season.
It was a good finish to the week, obviously. It was an important match in the race for the Tour Finals in London. And yeah, it was a very, very tough match today, but yeah, glad I managed to get through it.
And that's BBC Three Counties News and Sport. We've more at 7 o'clock.
If you hear a whisper, give us a shout.
Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Boy, Lee!
Yeah.
You're in my studio.
I know.
What for?
Well, it used to be my studio once upon a time, you know.
Well, listen, you know, we can all hang on to past glories.
I know, wasn't it great?
08459 455 555. Catherine and I are going to look at the papers. If you want to have a look with us, you're more than welcome to. What
Gosh,
you
you've got the same paper as me as well, so we can read along with Kath.
The papers they're good today.
Yeah.
Really good
There's a
today.
girl with her head stuck in a bottle bank.
Yeah.
I think we've all been there. Right, things not to put your head into.
Why would you do that?
I think she might have been a little bit drunk. Apparently she was looking for more drink.
Good girl.
Guys.
OK, well, this brings on 2 phone-ins. First thing, what have you got your head stuck in? Secondly, what have you done to get more booze? 08459 455 555. We've all, in our younger days, done minesweeping, haven't we? Where you go around the pub at closing time and finish off.
No.
You never done that?
Wow, is that a thing?
I was quite a heavy drinker. Yeah, minesweeping. You just as you're leaving the pub, you'd see, you know, a little drag of beer, a little bit of a shot of whiskey. Go minesweeping.
Gosh.
What have you got your head stuck in? And what have you done to get extra booze? 08459 455 555. Here's a local story that we're not covering.
Go on.
A serial flasher has been ordered by a judge not to go out without his pants on. Terry Emberson, 47, admitted 4 charges of indecent exposure, all committed at railway stations. Where? In Hertfordshire.
Oh, dear.
Local and vocal. St Albans Crown Court heard that Boozy Emberson of North London had offences. Judge John Plumstead told him, stay sober and keep it in your trousers.
Well, yeah.
Local story, guys. We should be all over that.
So they gave him a slapped wrist.
Yes, you don't want to slap that.
I've seen some sights at railway stations. There's another one. There was once a flasher. It was the most rubbish flasher ever at Flitwick Station, and he had his trousers round his ankles, and he kind of hopped down the platform.
Oh God, that reminds me of. Anyway, go on.
Yeah, that's rubbish flashing. I mean, I think flashing generally is horrible, but
I got touched up on a train once.
Yeah.
By some old fella.
Oh.
Yeah. And no one stepped in to help me. I've had that when I thought, is that someone's bag? No, that's not. That's not someone's bag. And another time, there was a man actually, and no one said a thing. The lighter side of sexual crimes. Ken's in Sandy. Good morning, Ken.
Good morning.
What have you got? Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Good morning, dear Kenneth. Good morning to you.
And many more.
For he's a jolly good fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow. And so say all of us. And so say all of us. And so say all of us. For he's a jolly good fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow. And so say all of us. And so say all of us. And so say all of us. For he's a jolly good fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow. So say all of us. And so say all of us. And so say all of us. Oh, for he's a jolly good fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow. He's a jolly good fellow. And so say all of us.
I can certainly hear that.
What would you like to say, Ken?
Well, what I want to say is I've just heard somebody saying that the PSOs, they weren't all that good. I'm afraid they obviously don't live in Sandy, because in Sandy we rely on the PSOs. They are absolutely brilliant.
The PCSOs, what do they do that's so brilliant, Ken?
What they do is...
But they don't sing to you like that.
If there's any problems, they're on the spot, because at the moment in Sandy we're having lots of burglaries, right? And the thing is that they go to see the people, sort it all out. And a couple of years ago in Sandy, we had lots of bad behaviour by young people at a place on an estate that we've got, and they resolved that problem. And what they do is on this...
Kenneth, if you could give them another special power, what special power would you give them?
I would give them the power. Well, I would give them more powers, and I suppose the
invisibility.
The main one would be to be able to arrest
turn back time.
To arrest people who are breaking the law.
Ken, thank you very much indeed. bossing me around.
I have got a new Halloween costume.
I know, it looks great. The glasses and the blue... You should have worn the orange dress.
I had the orange dress out, actually, and I thought, no, I'm not going to give him the satisfaction.
What's your Halloween costume?
Maleficent. I watched the film yesterday.
You
It
like that,
inspired
didn't
me.
you?
It was
Yeah,
so good.
Yeah?
It's like Joan Collins in Horned.
I didn't know how to say the name of the film, and I think that's when you're making a film, you should make the title pronounceable.
Pardon?
You should make the title pronounceable.
Pardon?
You know Boobop Row mum Josie Cunningham?
Oh, yeah, Boobop Brown Mum.
She's the mum who's, she's caused a row with Boobops. She is really taking it to the next level. We're talking about what have you done to get extra drinks.
She'll say anything, won't she?
She's selling her breast milk.
Do you know when you said that this morning?
Yeah.
I thought you meant
What?
Joni Cunningham.
From Happy Days. Oh, you idiot.
That's why I made the comment about
Happy Days.
Philadelphia.
Still don't.
Well, because she's an older woman. I said, oh, really? Anyway.
Boobop Round mum Josie Cunningham is hoping to make £2,000... Nothing to do with the Happy Days television series. Hoping to make £2,000 a week by selling her breast milk. The wannabe glamour model said after her third child was born that breastfeeding was, quotes, vile and borderline incest.
Wow.
Whoa!
Which doesn't mind pumping it off for strangers.
We don't know that for sure. No, I think she did do that for a while.
That's what she's offering.
She did that for a while, didn't she? But now Josie, 24, has set up a website to sell her milk to new mums for their babies for £2 an ounce. Hang on a minute. This is against the law.
It is, isn't it?
I'll tell you what's against the law. Listen, see if you can listen to this sentence and tell me what you think is illegal here. Josie has set up a website to sell her milk to new mums for their babies for £2 an ounce. And £10 an ounce to blokes.
Wow.
I'm going to try and find... Some women sell their eggs and men sell their sperm. So what's the difference with me selling my breast milk then, is it?
I don't think they sell them, do they? It's normally a donation.
I'm going to try and find her website. Let's see if we can get some, and we'll get Justin to take it to the streets.
Oh, gosh.
Go on, what you got?
Apart from horror.
Well, I'm feeling a little bit thirsty now. I like a hot chocolate in the evening, and why not?
Wow. Well, anyway, grants for ugly solar farms acts. I'm just reaching for the nearest thing here. You know, there was one proposed for near here, wasn't there? Near Barton le Clay, which, of course, this week is the home of the...
BT, Big Tour.
Big Tour. Well, maybe it's not going to happen. Taxpayer-funded handouts to subsidise solar farms are being axed. Environment Secretary Liz Truss announced yesterday. She said the ugly rows of solar panels are a blight on the countryside and take up vital land.
There's so much in the papers today. 08459 455 555 if you'd like us to sing to you. Eating at work makes you fat.
Well, it depends what you're eating, doesn't it?
If you're battling an expanding waistline, it could be eating at work that is to blame. A study found that those who regularly buy ready-made sandwiches or salads to eat at their desks are more likely to be obese. What? This is because pre-prepared food contains more calories. Those who ate 6 or more meals a week away from home, including lunch at their desk and dinner out, had the highest body mass. Basically,
if you eat more food, you'll be bigger.
You'll be fatter. I started, well, not a diet. I just didn't really eat a lot on the weekend. Hey, my massage pants.
Pants? How posh.
My massage pants certainly came into their own at the weekend. I put them on. You right?
Yeah.
And I went and had a. You're right, Kels.
What's wrong with that?
What's wrong? I went and had a cracking, literally a cracking massage with some Thai lady at the weekend. An hour, 50 quid. Oh, it hurt. It's an half. The thing is, I'm always aware, and I was wearing my massage pants, although they let me down a little. The massage pants are supposed to grip the leg. Because my legs are so skinny, there was still an opportunity for the soldiers to leave the barracks. They didn't. They didn't. They were at ease. But
Did you do the whole bit where she puts her arm back?
Oh yeah,
and cracks it.
Yeah, she was doing amazing things. She walked on me. Oh, it was fantastic. But I'm always aware.
She walked on you.
Yeah, mate.
So she climbed onto the bed and then just walked on you.
Yeah.
That's dangerous.
Well, she knows what she's doing. They know what they're doing.
She could have fallen off. I hope she took the appropriate safety precautions.
Yeah, well, she made sure that the stilettos were well balanced.
Was she wearing a harness?
Now, but I'm always aware in those situations that this is purely a massage experience, and
yes.
I don't want them to think I'm expecting other issues to be divulged. other preparations.
Yeah,
to,
we get what you're saying.
I'm, you know.
Yeah.
So I was trying to make non-sexually threatening noises.
Wow, you don't make any noises. There's a clue.
No, because that would imply you're nervous because you're building up to the question. So when she's like, she's putting...
You're going, oh yeah. Is that what you're doing? Because that's
no,
a bit off-putting.
these are the noises I was making. Tell me if you think these are in any way sexually intrusive. Oi. Hang on. Yeah, that's it. That's good. Oh, yeah, that is the spot. Yes. Go back there. Oh, yeah, that's good. Oh, yeah, that was great. Thank you. Now, that implies... I'm trying to treat her with respect.
That implies that you love her.
Those aren't my love noises. My love noises are...
OK, right, OK, let's move on.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting to look quite heavy now on the Great North Road, just approaching the Black Cat roundabout. Also the A1M starting to build up, heading southbound just around junction 8 for Stevenage. And the M1's looking rather slow on the speed sensors at the moment between junction 11 Dunstable Road and junction 9 for Redbourne. And the M25 heading anti-clockwise, rather slow moving between junction 21 for the M1 and junction 19 at Watford. Severe delays on the London Overground between Euston and Watford Junction. It's all due to some overrunning engineering works, also affecting Great Northern trains out of King's Cross as well, and minor delays on the Piccadilly line between Cockfosters and Acton Town due to an earlier signal failure. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you so much. Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. It's 6:46. These are your headlines on Monday the 20th of October. Community support officers in Bedfordshire have been given new powers to deal with antisocial behaviour. Elstow School in Bedfordshire is defending its decision to allow its head teacher to go on holiday during term time. And firefighters from Buckingham have been helping to put out a major blaze at the Didcot B power station in Oxfordshire. Coming up, more of the papers. We might even speak to Dealey, but before that, let's speak to Kate and get the weather.
Beds, hearts and bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. It's quite a bright start, or will be once the sun comes up, across all three counties this morning. Still hanging on to the breeze from yesterday, not quite as strong, but still noticeable, and that brings our chance of a shower. They're going to blow through fairly quickly, though. If we do get them through the course of the day, they're likely to really skirt across the Chilterns and then head north and eastward. So 1 or 2 showers around, but as I said, the breeze will blow them through fairly quickly. The cloud will begin to increase through this morning and into the afternoon as well, but the maximum temperature not quite as warm as yesterday, but still reasonable. We're looking at around 15, maybe 16 Celsius. Overnight, dry at first, but then we'll see a cold front arriving. It's the middle part of the night the wind will really start to develop, and really breezy as we head through to dawn tomorrow morning. With it, the arrival of some heavy rains. The minimum temperature down to 9 Celsius. Now, this strong wind is likely to continue through tomorrow morning, but it will push this rain away fairly quickly. Behind it, some sunshine, some scattered showers, and temperatures getting cooler through tomorrow. Start off fairly mild, but feeling chilly by the end of the day. Maximum temperature 14 Celsius, and that's your forecast.
Do you mind if I touch it?
Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit lonely and you're never coming around. Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit tired of listening to the sound of my tears. Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit nervous that the best of all the years have gone by. Turn around. Every now and then I get a little bit terrified, and then I see the look in your eyes. Turn around, bright eyes. Every now and then I fall apart. Turn around, bright eyes. Every now and then I fall apart, and I need you now tonight, and I need you more than ever. And if you only hold me tight, we'll be holding on forever, and we'll only be making it right, 'cause we'll nothing I can do, a total eclipse of the heart. Once upon a time there was light in my life, but now there's only love in the dark. Nothing I can say, a total eclipse of the heart.
Do you mind if I touch it? Oh, I want to touch, I want to feel. Tell us what you're doing right now.
Wiggling it.
Come here, give me a big cuddle. Having a gecko on your head for me is just wrong. Kind of makes me high, makes me low, then it lifts me back up again. It just has this effect on my body which I can't really explain. I feel good now.
Every now and then I fall apart. Every now and then I fall apart. And I need you now tonight. And I need you more than ever. And if you hold me tight, we'll be holding on forever. And we'll only be making it right. 'Cause we'll never be wrong. Together we can take it to the end of the line. Love is like a shadow on me all of the time. I don't know what to do. I'm always in the dark. We're living in a cloud again.
Justin?
Hey, boss.
Is it true that you that when Kelly tried to tell you what this song reminds her of, you silenced her?
Yeah, I just said, can you phone me on Saturday at midday? That's when my show starts, not now.
Okay, thought so.
Upon a time I was falling in love, but now I'm only falling apart. Nothing I can say, a total eclipse of
Come on, this is a great song. This is a great song.
a total eclipse.
Classic PB there.
It's classic PB.
Power ballad.
Lynn's on the line.
Hi, Ian.
Hi there, Lynn.
Kelly.
What?
Hi, Catherine.
Hi.
Hi there.
Hi, Justin.
Hey.
Hey. Got you all in there. You make me
She
laugh.
did say hi to you, Kelly.
Oh, hi, Lynn.
Hi. No, I've already spoken to Kelly.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, Lynn.
Yeah.
You make me laugh so much.
Well, we'll stop that. No, not you, Kelly. I think she's talking to me now. We'll stop that, Lynn. We'll have no more laughter.
Some of your descriptions have me in fits.
Oh, yeah.
When you said
Some of your descriptions had us in fits, didn't it, just?
Tears, more like.
40C.
I'm still concerned about whether... Well, no, we won't go there.
What?
Your soldiers coming out of the barracks thing
Yes.
gave me this mental image.
Yeah.
You know, you get the sentries outside Buckingham Palace in their little shed things.
Yep.
Big bearskins on.
Yep.
God, that must be more boring than stacking shelves in Aldi, that job. But it just gave me this mental image that every now and again they have to come out of their little barrack shed.
Yeah. Now, are we talking about the actual soldiers or my soldiers?
Your soldiers.
Yeah, no.
So I was just wondering,
Yes.
because they have to come out
Yes. What?
and do a little walkabout.
Well...
What on earth would you have done if your soldier thought, oh, time to sleep?
There we go. Thank you very much indeed. Let's just say everybody was at ease on that day.
Present arms.
Yes, there was nobody standing to... Now, Justin.
Yes, boss.
You all right, fella?
Yeah, absolutely fine, thank you.
I think we're still broadcasting, yes. I think we're still... At ease, everybody. Nobody stand at attention this morning, please. Now, I think we have a mish for you, Just.
Yeah, far away.
Could you get us coffee, please? Your mission this morning, should you choose to accept it, is, could you get us coffee, please?
What? But I thought we had new coffee in the kitchen.
Yeah?
So what's your beef?
Oh, for goodness sake. Catherine, he's not going to take the hint, so what have we got? Where are we going to send him today,
Elstow,
please?
I think.
Yeah.
Because I want to be fair and find out whether indeed there is discontent at the school gates.
This is this school. What school is it? Let's get
Elstow Primary.
Elstow Primary, where the headmistress, Jenny Winder, she's going to have a week or a couple of weeks off.
No, 1 week.
She's having 1 week off.
In January.
In the Caribbean in January, at a time when parents aren't allowed to take their kids to school. And we were wondering, Justin. What do the parents there think about this situation?
Because the Daily Mail is suggesting that they're branding her a hypocrite. Now, there's no names, no pack drills, so how are we supposed to believe that? I think, let's see if that is indeed the case. If parents are not being fined by Jenny Winder, then fair play, isn't it?
Well, I heard you talk about this at 6:20 this morning, and there's a couple of issues here. First of all, the parents, what do they think? The Daily Mail aren't naming these parents, but secondly, we are told that this break is for personal reasons. We don't know about that reason. If she comes out this morning and says to me at the school, here's the reason, here's why I'm taking this 1 week break to the Caribbean in January, maybe we can have a better understanding, and people might say, well, in actual fact, that's fair enough. 14 years, I believe. Yeah. Without taking holiday in term time.
Well, hang on. No, I'm not having that. Yes, she may have good personal reasons. Having worked a long time, I'm not going to allow that as a personal reason.
No, but if what I'm saying is, if she hasn't taken time for 14 years, that would suggest to me that she's dedicated to her job. I don't know. It could be somebody in her family's getting married, and she has to be there. Surely that is an exceptional circumstance, which most people would say that's absolutely fine. Yes, you should go for that 1 week and 1 week only.
So I'm just watching Kath pick her nails like she's a board secretary or something. What on earth are you doing?
I did them yesterday and they're not quite as neat as I would like.
Justin, you go off and find out for us, please, mate. See what you can sniff out.
And, boss, before I go...
Yes, my love.
On the clay, the home of the big tour this week.
Oh, yeah, but on the clay, go on.
Would you like a big question for your programme? Would you like it?
Oh, yeah, I would love a big quiz. We could turn it into like a quiz. OK, yeah, and £500 prize.
Yes, absolutely.
Not really. We have to say that because we're the BBC and we're not allowed to joke anymore.
We haven't got £500. Go on.
She's got right Mardy this morning.
Which 1990 song, which went to number one, it was their first UK number one, is written about Barson LeClay? This is a true story. Which 1990 song...
You deal in fact, not fiction, mate.
Absolutely.
Is it Rhythm is a Dancer?
No, it's not that, which was a great tune. Which 90 song, which went to number one, is written about Barson LeClay, the home of our big tour this week?
Now, I know that Mark Morrison is from round here. Is it Return of the Mac?
No, it's not Mark Morrison, no. He was a bad
Mysterious
boy,
Girl. Mysterious Girl.
No, that was written about Princess Risborough.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Justin, well, thank you very much.
Cheers, boss.
See you later. Ta-ta. I like Bill Oddie because he's a miserable old get.
He says all sorts as well, doesn't he?
We should have baby quotas like China. I agree with this.
Well, hang on.
Britain should impose a Chinese... It doesn't mean you have to have Chinese babies. You just have limits.
But they get one baby each and then they dump the one they don't like.
Britain should impose a Chinese-style quota on the number of babies people can have rather than curb immigration, Bill Oddie has suggested. Hello? That makes perfect sense. The wildlife expert and TV presenter said he was delighted to have foreign neighbours and wanted a mixed country. On a TV debate, he said there should just as likely be a restriction on the number of children that British people have because overpopulation is what you're talking about. That's the big problem. He doesn't say how many he thinks we should have.
Well, he's got 3, so I imagine 3.
I reckon 2.
I think 3's excessive.
I think 3 is showing off.
Yeah.
I think 2. I don't think you should have more than 2 kids. That's quite good. I like that. That makes sense, doesn't it? You read it and you think, oh, Bill Oddie, that's horrible. I think it makes perfect sense. You shouldn't have any more than 2 kids. Okay. Otherwise, you're selfish.
Parents of 3 children, which one are you going to get rid of? Call me now.
08459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting off on the M1, looking rather heavy heading southbound between junction 11 for Dunstable Road and junction 9 at Redbourne. In Harpington's looking very heavy at the moment on St Albans Road, just around Station Road on the sensors. So far, taking a look at the M25, very slow moving, heading anti-clockwise between junction 17 at Maple Cross and junction 15 for the M4. On the train, severe delays at the moment on the London Overground between Euston and Watford Junction. It's all due to some overrunning engineering works, also affecting trains from Great Northern out of King's Cross as well. Minor delays on the Piccadilly line between Uxbridge and Acton Town, and also between Heathrow Terminal 5 and Acton Town due to an earlier signal failure. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Nicola. So quite a bit to talk about. Do you have a problem with this head teacher taking a week off in January? And if you've got more than 2 children, you're selfish. Which ones are you going to get rid of? We'll speak after the news with Lee.
Cool and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7 o'clock, I'm Lee Agnew. The headlines: new powers for support officers in Bedfordshire, head teacher of Elstow School takes holiday in term time, and Buckingham firefighters tackle blaze at power station.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Community support officers in Bedfordshire have new powers from today to deal with antisocial behaviour. The force says it means PCSOs will be more effective in dealing with people causing a nuisance. Chief Inspector Gavin Hughes-Rowland says they'll be allowed to move people on.
And that would last for about 48 hours, and that would be used in response to increasing antisocial behaviour in a particular area.
Elstow School in Bedfordshire is defending its decision to allow its head teacher to go on holiday during term time. Jenny Winder's taking time off in January to go with her partner to the Caribbean. Catherine Boyle reports.
The school's website warns parents against removing their children from the classroom during term time, with the threat of legal proceedings if they do. But Chair of Governors Kevin Hunter says that Mrs Winder has served the school and thousands of children well for over 14 years and has made the request for personal reasons which they've judged appropriate. It's understood it's the first time she's requested leave during term time.
Firefighters from Buckingham have been helping to tackle a blaze at the Didcot B power station in Oxfordshire. Investigators are trying to determine how the fire started at the plant. Dan Meredith from RWE Power says supplies won't be affected.
There'll be no disruptions to electricity. We have a very resilient network in the UK, and the way the national grid can operate, they are able to call on other power stations across the country to fill the gap that this power station has left as it's come off.
David Cameron's being warned not to alienate Eastern European countries as he tries to make a new deal with Brussels. The President of the European Commission says Britain would have zero influence on the world stage if it leaves the EU. Dr Fran Burwell from the Atlantic Council think tank believes he has a point.
It may be too much to say that Britain will have zero influence, but clearly Britain's influence, if it were to leave the EU, would be much reduced, not only in Europe, but I would say also in Washington. You know, President Barroso has about 2 more weeks left in office. So I think it was a time when President Barroso felt that he must make clear his views on what is no doubt a key issue facing the EU.
A woman whose son went to fight in Syria says not enough's being done to help them come home when they realise they've made a mistake. Linda says despite coming back to Britain, he's received no help to de-radicalise him.
I allowed my son to come back and accepted him with love. And we've got to be careful with young people. Young people can make sudden decisions that are not good and do dangerous things. And I think at that stage, whatever the person's doing, they need support.
In sport, Andy Murray has beaten David Ferrer to win the Vienna Open. It means he qualifies for the World Tour finals. And the weather will be bright and sunny with showers at times today. Top temperatures around 15 degrees Celsius. That's 59 degrees Fahrenheit. You can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/Three Counties.
Kind of makes me high, makes me low, then lifts me back up again. It just has this effect on my body which I can't really explain. I feel better.
BBC Three Counties Radio's big tour of Beds, Herts and Bucks.
It's a beautiful village. We're surrounded by nice open countryside.
Telling everyone about where you live.
You've got the old part on one side of the A6, you've got the newer part on the other side.
All this week, we're exploring Barton Le Clay.
Some lovely old buildings, so it gives it a real sort of sense of a real feature to the place.
The big tour of Beds, Herts and Bucks. BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning to you. It's Monday. It's the 20th of October. Oh! It's nearly Christmas. We're 2 months and a week away from Christmas. And I can see Jonathan Vernon Smith climbing on a table trying to fix some lights. It's always a joy to see that man doing some physical labour at last. What's coming up? Well, we're talking about PCSOs. We're talking about a head teacher who's taking a week off in term time to go to the Caribbean. Does it bother you? We don't know what her reasons are, so could be justified. Would love to know if you go to Elstow School and what you think about Miss Winder taking some time off. What have you done to get booze? Some poor woman stuck her head inside a bottle recycling bank.
Textbook error. They're going to be empty, aren't they?
They're going to... Well, there'll be a few dregs in. How far have you gone to get booze? Should we limit the number of children that we have to 2? I think that makes perfect sense, and it's odd that that's not been such a... We're talking about all the Poles and the Romanians and the Americans coming over here, but why don't we limit the number of kids we have? It seems crazy to have more than 2 kids.
OK, so the third one, if you do have a third one, which one are you going to get rid of?
08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Do you want some Texas?
I would love some Texas.
We're going to be talking about PCSOs in a minute in more detail with some experts.
Yay.
We've been talking already about the 4 new powers that they have in Bedfordshire.
Let me get this right. So one is the ability to stop time, one is invisibility, one is flight, and the other is to hold up a whole building with one hand.
Not quite. It's more about fixed penalty fines.
Right.
But, close.
Not the greatest of superheroes.
Well, you asked the listeners what powers they would like to give PCSOs.
Yeah, go on, what we got?
Well, Phil on the way home to Ping says, how about giving them the power of Grayskull?
Oh, thank you, Phil. Yeah,
they can
morning.
handle that.
Is there a place called Ping?
I think he might be Tring, but I think he might be doing a joke.
Ping!
But maybe he's going to Ping. That's
There's a place called Ping. That's wonderful.
I need to live there. There's also a message through from Maff, who is talking about the head teacher who's taking time off in January.
Yeah.
Says there's no excuse for it. 13 weeks off, well paid. They are the school manager. Obviously, Orwell's 1984 is back in the curriculum, says Maff.
I don't think her face has been eaten off by rats. I don't think that's happening. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number now, as we've just said, from today. Police community support officers in Bedfordshire will have new powers to deal with antisocial behaviour. The force says it will mean PCSOs will be able to make an even greater contribution to fighting nuisance behaviour, which spoils quality of life for residents. Well, let's speak now to Labour Bedford Borough Councillor Colleen Atkins, who's a member of the Police and Crime Panel for Bedfordshire and chairs the Eastern Region of Neighbourhood Watch. Good morning to you, Colleen.
Good morning.
How big an issue is antisocial behaviour?
Well, antisocial behaviour, if it affects you, then it is a very big issue. It comes in a whole variety of forms, and a lot of people aren't even quite sure what antisocial behaviour is. So the new reforms are trying to bring it all together to make it easier and to make it a lot more victim-focused.
Are these going to be better? Because do you remember ASBOs, when ASBOs came in, and they didn't really do a lot? Are these powers going to be more effective than those, do you think, Colleen?
Well, I would contradict that. I think that ASBOs did do a lot, especially in the first instances. But as things have changed and it's now become a lot clearer that there was something like about 19 different bits of legislation which have now been taken down into 6. And that's made it a lot more streamlined. It means that the police, the local authorities, the councils, housing associations, etc., they can all work together in a lot better way. We have been working extremely well together. Bedford has a really good reputation for working in partnership, but these will bring in extra powers, which means that they can work a lot more efficiently together and include some of the PCSO powers.
Some of the wording seems a little bit vague, and there is a concern, isn't there, that buskers or homeless people could be targeted by these new powers. What do you think about that?
I would completely disagree with that, and it's certainly not the intention of Bedford Borough or anywhere in Bedfordshire.
Oh, not the intention, but within the wording of these powers, they could be, couldn't they?
Buskers have got their own code of conduct, and that is how they work within the local authority areas. So in Bedford, we have a code of conduct with buskers, which would deal with that situation, and we wouldn't need to deal with it in this way.
And homeless people?
Exactly the same sort of thing. What's being brought in is no different to what we have been doing in Bedford, working in partnership, working to help the community. But this brings in, as I say, a lot more centred on victims. It also gives the professionals and their partners flexibility to deal with the difficult and often very sensitive situations. And it also, as I've said, it streamlines the powers of tackling antisocial behaviour.
Colleen, I appreciate your time this morning. Thank you very much indeed. Joined by Matt Overt, who is the Director of Programme Development at the charity Diffuse. Good morning to you, Matt.
Good morning.
What approach does Diffuse take to dealing with antisocial behaviour?
Well, we believe that there's a role that the public can take in antisocial behaviour. And that's not to say we're moving the responsibility around and away from the police. But imagine a sprained ankle, not every sprained ankle needs an ambulance. The same is true in antisocial behaviour. So there's a time that the police are needed because it's very complex, it's very dangerous. There's a time when the public themselves can deal with their own situations and can actually diffuse a situation before it becomes antisocial, or take the temperature out of something which is already happening.
What kind of situations are you suggesting that the public could diffuse?
Well, we work with communities, so there is someone's doing something in your community, maybe vandalism, that you would prefer them to stop. But quite often people themselves feel victims of antisocial behaviour. We had one person on our course, after attending our training, he had youths throwing stones at his house, and he spoke to them and said, well, what have I done to you? And they said, well, who are you? I said, well, I'm the guy whose house you're throwing stones at. Oh, crikey, we didn't realise. We're really sorry. So he opened the dialogue. He didn't get aggressive. He didn't get angry with the people who were perpetrating the antisocial behaviour. And that bit of dialogue helped move that situation on.
That's got to be an exception, though, hasn't it? We hear so many. So I got a friend who's dealing with an idiot next door who's making too much music. He goes and speaks to him, and he just gets a load of abuse. I can't believe that many situations with idiots are calmed down by someone going, "Hey, could you stop, please?"
I think if you start off from the perspective they're an idiot, that's going to come across in your tone, and they're going to. Well,
if they're chucking stones at my house, they're an idiot.
Sure, but they're doing it for a reason that may not be personal, and to take it personally and to escalate it.
It's my house.
In that way. Yeah, but they may not know it's you.
Well, they know someone lives there.
Of course. So we're having a dialogue. The key is not to do the spontaneous things, to think it through. What is it that you want?
I want them to stop throwing. I want the idiots to stop throwing stones at my house.
We had a guy at one of our courses whose approach was to go out and basically tell them where to go with fairly aggressive, strong language. And what happened then is, well, he got a bigger stone thrown at his house. So, yes, you may want them to stop throwing stones at your house.
So what, I go out there and give him a hug and make him a cup of tea and say, come on, lads, come and play Xbox with me?
No, I think every situation is different. But what I'm saying is, if you go in with an aggressive approach to an antisocial behaviour situation, all that's going to do is escalate it.
But they're the ones being aggressive. How would you suggest I diffuse the situation of idiots throwing stones at my house? Then just ask them to stop.
Well, there's a reason why they're doing it.
I don't care what the reason is.
There is a reason.
I don't care. It's my house. Stop throwing stones at my house.
Well, I think if you're taking an aggressive approach, then the situation is going to escalate. And what we want to do here is to calm the situation down. And if you go out and get all up in someone's face, then that's just going to make it worse. I had a situation where a neighbour came round to my house. He objected to where I parked. It was a genuine mistake on my behalf. He came round, banging on the door, shouting at my partner because I was out at the time. And the next day I wanted to have a conversation. Of course I was seething. I was incredibly angry at this. How dare you come round and speak to me like that over a genuine mistake? If I'd have gone round there and banged on his door and done the same sort of response there, all that would have done is made the situation worse. What I did was find an opportunity to talk to him, and I apologised. I said, I'm sorry that I blocked you, and I didn't mean to do that. And then I said, well, but do you know that you came across very aggressive? I said, no, I didn't mean to do that. So we started having a dialogue. He misunderstood my parking. I misunderstood his aggression. We had a dialogue. We said, well, we're reasonable people. Let's have a conversation next time this happens. Every situation is different, and the words you use and how you approach it will be different. Sometimes, yeah, of course, call the police, speak to the local authority. If it's ongoing, if it is victimisation, then of course you need to get help. And what we do is give people the skills to deal with the situations they can and refer the situations they can't, but not just automatically refer and not to live in fear of approaching someone.
Matt, if people want to find out more about Diffuse, where do they go?
DFUSE, diffuse.org.uk.
Excellent stuff, Matt. Thank you very much indeed for your time. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number. Our opinion's slightly... If someone's chucking stones at my house, then I'm not going to go out and say, hey... Do you know what? I might go out. First call, I'll go and say, hey, could you stop doing that? I don't think that would work. And when they did it the second time, I say, oi! Go and pee off, you little sods, or I'm going to call the police.
Throwing stones at your house is a provocative thing. It's not like they're doing it by accident and they've not thought about what they're doing.
Oh, we didn't know you lived there. Well, you know that someone lives there. It's like, go away. Go away. I'm going to call the police, you little so-and-sos. And by the way, I'm filming you. I'm filming you now, and this is going online. Now, naff off. I would go out and say, excuse me, could you stop doing that, please?
Yeah.
But then when they carried on doing it, which they would, Of course I'm going to get angry. Of course they're idiots. They're idiots if they do it. My mate is having terrible trouble with someone who lives just next door to him playing their music too loudly. And he's gone round and done, excuse me, could you... oh, yeah, sorry. Not changed it a bit. He's gone to the manager of the housing complex. Oh, we'll sort it out. Not changed it a bit. So I would suggest and correct me if I'm wrong, dear listener, maybe you've had experience where you've gone and spoken calmly to people and they've gone, oh, I'm really sorry, mister, yeah, I'll stop. But I suspect that the majority of instances would not be calmed down by going, hey, I know you've got issues and things are really bad for you and stuff, but...
Talk to me about what's really behind this.
Come here, do you want to... Come in, listen, I've just got some new games on the Xbox, maybe we could talk over that. Hey, you've stolen my Xbox! 08459 455 555. Your examples of antisocial behaviour, and if I'm wrong, oh, then wonderful. Did going out and just saying, hey, guys, do you want to share this doobie with me? Did that work? 08459 455 555. I wasn't offering to share my doobie with you guys, by the way. No, you never offer. Now, you remember my neighbour who's got the fridge on the end of her drive? Oh, yeah. I had a good plan for that. Do you remember the good plan? Are you allowed to say the plan on air? Yeah, because I can't do it. Is it gone? She's only shifted it. She's ruined my plan. She was going to put fridge magnets on there saying... I was going to get some of those alphabet blocks, those fridge magnets, and start the fridge, a dialogue between the fridge and the Red Ram. It's gone, has it? Yeah. What's she replaced it with? A burnt-out car? Well... Will be soon.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's looking rather heavy at the moment on the Great North Road, just approaching the Black Cat roundabout. So far, the M1 on the sensors rather slow moving between junction 11 for Dunstable Road and junction 9 for Redbourne. In Harpenden, it's looking very slow moving on St Albans Road, just around Station Road. And the M25 heading anti-clockwise is very slow moving between junction 22 for St Albans and junction 19 at Watford. Taking a look so far at the train, severe delays on the London Overground between Euston and Watford Junction. It's all due to some overrunning engineering works, also causing delays on Great Northern out of King's Cross as well. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you so much. We've got a great tweet from Iain Girvan. What powers would you give PCSOs? He said PCSOs should be able to turn into lions. That would sort it. That's a great one. 7:17, it's Monday the 20th of October. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Community support officers in Bedfordshire have been given new powers to deal with antisocial behaviour. Firefighters from Buckingham have been tackling a blaze at the Didcot B power station in Oxfordshire. And the head teacher of Elstow School in Bedfordshire is being allowed to go on a Caribbean holiday in term time. Your thoughts on that story, please. 08459 455 555. Dealey will be at the school later on.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Well, apparently the radio station doesn't close down at the weekends.
Every Saturday morning from 9.
So I'll give the Three Counties clue in its entirety. People are saying it on the text. Thought Waterville sounds good because it has a lakes to the west.
Treasure Quest.
We are on our search for the treasure. Isn't it more likely to be a name of a town that has something wet in it? Where do you think Tim needs to go in Aylesbury?
I think Tim needs to go to Watermead.
Saturday mornings from 9.
Where's the club? Oh, there's the clubhouse. The treasure was in the form of Jane and you touched her, didn't you?
Treasure Quest. Every Saturday morning from 9 on BBC Three Counties Radio. Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
All right.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
I think we've sorted it. I thought it was all sounding a bit to cock this morning. I think that Kelly and I have fixed... So you speak now, Kath.
Hello.
Right, carry on speaking. Tell us what you did at the weekend, but try and make it sound exciting, yeah.
Oh, what I did at the weekend, I scaled a really high mountain and I got the hair from the giant's head.
I think I fixed it.
And what?
I mean, it doesn't sound any different to... Toby?
Yes, sir.
Are you phoning up to have a beef about Catherine's voice?
Yeah, just a small beef.
She's from up north. There's not a lot we can do about that. Ooh. But it's coming out of one speaker, is it?
Yeah, just one side, the right-hand side.
I think I can make it come out of no speakers, if that would help.
What, just Catherine or all of you?
Cheeky... Right.
No, just ask him. Just ask him.
It would just be Catherine. All right, hang on. Colin?
Morning.
You've got... Oh, flipping it. You've got beef with Catherine as well, have you?
No, I haven't got beef with her at all. No, it just...
You got beef with Toby? Toby, Colin's got beef with you.
I haven't got beef with anybody.
Well, then what do you want, old man?
I'm just saying that it sounded as though she was on the phone.
When? When you spoke to her on the phone?
No, when she was talking to you.
Toby?
Yes, sir.
Are you near your radio?
I'm right in front of it. I'm in the van on Bluetooth.
Right, OK. Now, Catherine, you talk now.
Hello, Toby. Can you hear me better now? Am I surrounding you?
You're surrounding me perfectly. I love it.
Hang on, no, I haven't changed anything yet.
I don't mind. Just leave it like that. I like being surrounded.
Oh, for goodness, right. Toby's gone. This is not an 0898 number. Could we make money? Colin?
Yes.
Are you near your wireless set?
I am.
Right. Now, Catherine, flirt with Colin.
Colin.
Hello, darling. Hang on, I've got to turn it up. I'm a
when you get old, you've got to do that.
Yeah.
There you are.
Yeah, you're coming through perfectly.
I've not changed anything.
You don't have to.
Hey, be quiet, Colin. Hang on.
She's a big girl now. She can change it herself.
Colin, be quiet. Don't say anything. Good morning. Now turn your radio on again, you plum.
Oh. Well, I thought that creates feedback.
Yeah, the Larson effect.
The Larson effect, yeah.
The Larson effect.
The Larson effect.
The Larson effect.
The Larson
Right,
effect.
it's on.
No, keep quiet, Colin. The Larson effect.
The Larson effect.
The Larson effect.
Morning, Iain. Morning, Iain. How are you, Iain? I'm good, Iain. Psychedelic. There we go, that's what happens.
Mr. Barbalina, Mr. Barbalina.
Mr. Barbalina, Mr. Barbalina. China Clipper calling Alameda.
But we didn't have trouble with you.
We got trouble with you, Colin. You're gone. I haven't fixed anything. There we go, let me play with that knob there.
That was fun, though, wasn't it?
Oh, she's back.
Technically.
She's back, surrounding the whole room.
I'm engulfing you, whether you like it or not.
We should. That could be. Hey, I've got an idea for a feature. You know, we were talking about we haven't got any features on the show.
Yeah,
and we
like
should have
like the 4 for 4 and all that.
Yeah, we should have one. Boil's beef.
Boil's beef.
Wait, it's either...
Boiling point.
That is brilliant.
Ian, do you want to say it so it's like you said it? So
What?
it's like you came up with it, so it's your idea.
We haven't got any features, and we were talking
Yeah.
last week. We haven't got any features.
Yeah, like we need the 4x4.
Yeah, well, I've got one.
Yeah.
Go on then.
The boiling point.
That's great.
Rubbish, isn't it?
Well,
So basically, it's Boyle has beef, and she reaches beefy boiling point. Beefy's boiling point with Ian Botham. You're not in it anymore, Kath. Sorry, it's Ian Botham and his kadang. They get beef, and he reaches,
I don't want to think about that.
Ian Botham reaches boiling
Let me
point.
just stop being burnt onto my eyeballs.
08459 455 555. Now, this new feature is called Beef with Boyle, and if you've got beef with Boyle, give us a call now and tell us exactly what your beef is, and you can have it off with have it out with her.
Goodness me. That's worse than a feature we used to do when I was the Milton Keynes reporter. Some bright spark decided we'd play a game.
You can have it out with her.
Listen to this one. Phil Boyle's box.
Who's Phil Boyle?
I had to go out with an empty box and get it filled by the end of the morning. We played it once. I was uncomfortable with it.
what sort of stuff did you get?
Pen, a comb, mouth organ, I think.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Disneyland, the American one, not the French one that's being bailed out by the American one. Nice this time of year. I can't go because my boy is in school, and schools are finding parents who take their kids away in term time. Still, it's only fair, isn't it? After all, the teachers have to wait for the holidays too. Or do they? The headmistress of Elstow School is taking a week off in January to go to the Caribbean, and the governors are fine with it. We've sent Justin down to the school, and hopefully we'll get to speak to some of the parents later on. Now, we don't know her reasons for going. We don't know what the reason is, so we're kind of shooting in the dark a little bit here. But if you've been caught out by not being able to take your kids out of school, I'd love to hear your thoughts. 08459 455 555. I'm joined now by Craig Langman, who is a parent who started a petition against the fines. He's also founder of the campaign group Parents Want a Say. Morning, Craig.
Good morning, Ian.
Craig, should head teachers be taking time off during term time?
No. No, they shouldn't. They have a responsibility to ensure that the education of our kids is paramount and important. And basically, we get told on a weekly basis that head teachers and teachers shouldn't be aren't allowed to take time off during term time. So therefore, we shouldn't take our kids out of school either.
Now, we don't know the reason that this head teacher is taking a week off in January. The chair of governors says that that they're satisfied with her reason. So I guess we have to assume that she does have a good reason to go.
I would agree, and obviously we can't we can't comment about this specific case. However, generally speaking, this isn't the only time we've heard that a teacher or a head teacher has been off during term time. And obviously my group, Parents Want to Say, is basically trying to sort of be the middle ground between parents and teachers, because at the moment there seems to be quite a lot of animosity being sort of built, where parents are being isolated. We're being fined, we're being told that we're not turning up for parents' evening, that we're not doing child's homework, and this, that and the other. And it's very difficult at the moment, being a parent. And what we're basically saying is common sense has to prevail. If you've got a reason that is under what we consider to be exceptional circumstances, whether it's a funeral, whether it's seeing family abroad, whether it's, a whole raft of things, to each and every case, this is what we consider to be exceptional, not what the government says is exceptional circumstances.
I suppose it's different for a head teacher because it's more of a managerial role, isn't it? Their presence wouldn't necessarily be felt as much as a child's... the impact on the head teacher in the school wouldn't be as big as on a child who was missing a week of term.
True, but it's setting the precedent.
Mm.
A leader should lead. Therefore, if a leader is off, what's that message being sent out to the rest of the teachers? Well, actually, the head teacher can go off whenever she feels like it. We can as well. And in the end of the day, they keep saying, and so do the LEAs keep saying, that a child's education is affected for every single day that child is missing from school. So when you've got teachers that are being off because they're going on holiday or they're going to funerals or things that life gets in the way, that's then setting a precedent. So wouldn't it be a lot more harder now for the head teacher to now turn around to parents and say, well, actually, I'm not authorising this holiday and you will be fined? You can imagine the parents are then going to turn around and say, well, you did.
When are you planning to next take your kid out of school during term time? You got anything planned?
I haven't, because I believe that my child's education is important. However, that's not to say that something that's unplanned might suddenly turn up in the next 12 months, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. I just don't know. And having the flexibility to be able to go to my head teacher or my son's head teacher and say, we've got to take my son out of school. This is an exceptional circumstance. Please, are you able to do that? And that's why we say we go back to the rules that the head teacher had a discretion of up to 10 days under special circumstances. But that wasn't a right for everyone to be able to take that. It was still, you had to give a reason for that. And if you didn't have a reason, you couldn't take the time off.
Craig, good to talk to you this morning. Thank you very much indeed. Craig Langman, a parent who started a petition against the fines. Well, Justin Dealey is going to be at the school, hopefully a little bit later on. We've got any texts or anything,
We
Kath?
have, one from Jade. I don't have children, so I'm not particularly bothered. But what if the head teacher's partner is really ill and they want to go on holiday for one final time together? Is that so unacceptable? I would say a situation like this is classed as an exceptional circumstance. Also, they have deputy head teachers who I'm sure could stand in for the week.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know the exact situation, do we?
No, we've been told personal reasons. It could be anything.
08459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting off this morning on the M1, it's rather slow moving on the sensors between junction 12 for Flitwick and junction 11 for Dunstable Road. Taking a look so far at the M1 London bound, rather heavy around junction 9 for Redbourne. And in Harpington, it's looking very slow moving on the speed sensors on St Albans Road, just around Station Road. And also the A41 in Hemel Hempstead, very heavy between the Hemel Hempstead turn-off and junction 20 for the M25. Taking a look at the M25 itself, very heavy anti-clockwise between junction 18 at Chorleywood and junction 15 for the M4. The M40 on camera looking heavy from the Denham roundabout to the M25. And also taking a look at the trains, minor delays on the Piccadilly line between Uxbridge and Acton Town. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7:30. I'm Lee Agnew. The headlines: community support officers in Bedfordshire have been given new powers to deal with antisocial behaviour. They'll be able to hand out fines and move people causing a nuisance along. Firefighters from Buckingham have been helping to tackle a blaze at the Didcot B power station in Oxfordshire. Investigators are trying to determine how the fire started at the plant, which can supply power to 1 million homes. An Elstow school in Bedfordshire is defending its decision to allow its head teacher to go on holiday during term time. Jenny Winder's taking time off in January to go with her partner to the Caribbean. The weather will be bright and sunny with showers at times. Top temperatures around 15 degrees Celsius. That's 59 degrees Fahrenheit.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The QPR boss Harry Redknapp has described his players as naive after losing 3-2 to Liverpool. Liverpool snatched the points after the home side equalised twice. But Liverpool manager Brendan Rodgers says he's disappointed with his team's performance.
Defensively, we kept penetrating and kept looking to score and get back in it. And as I said, it was an incredible final sort of 10 minutes, really. So, but for us, we'll take the 3 points. We'll take the character that the team showed, but the performance was too slow and there's no speed, and the circulation of the ball was nowhere near the level that I would expect.
There were victories for Luton Town, Stevenage and Wickham, and a goalless draw for the MK Dons. Watford atop of the Championship table after a 3-0 win at Sheffield Wednesday. And the Hornets' new boss, Slavica Jokanovic, was pleased with the result.
It's good start. We was make good game, and especially we have some problem in first 15 minutes and last 15 minutes, but we catch the control in many minutes on the game. And for the beginning, I must be happy what my team doing today in the match.
In tennis, Andy Murray's beaten David Ferrer to win the Vienna Open. The victory means he'll move into 8th and final qualifying position for the World Tour Finals. He says he knows how important the match was to his season.
It was a good finish to the week. Obviously, it was an important match in the race for the Tour Finals in London. And yeah, it was a very, very tough match today, but yeah, glad I managed to get through it.
And that's BBC Three Counties News and Sport with more at 8 o'clock.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties.
Oh yeah. Feeling it now. Yeah, baby, I am feeling it now. Morning, this is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. Boy, oh boy, what a busy show this morning. So we're talking about the head teacher at Elstow School, Jenny Winder, who is taking a week off during term time. Now, we don't know the reason. I saw your email, thank you, Kelly. We don't know the reason. She's going to the Caribbean for a week. There could be a personal reason, or it might be a jolly. We just don't know. Is it appropriate for her to do that?
Maybe it's dentist.
In the Caribbean?
Yep. People, when they have a set dentist or doctors that they love, they try to stay with them. So maybe...
Hey, you mentioned a good point, because my hairdresser has left the establishment that I get my haircut done at, I think. Her name doesn't come up on the computer anymore when I try and book online. I'm not phoning them. So I've only just started... I've been having Vanessa for 18 months now.
Felts.
And I've only just started getting used to her. I think we're starting to get a good communication, and now I've got no idea where she is. So I've got to start a relationship with a hairdresser again. And that's a real pain. It's an annoyance. Anyway, I don't know why we're talking about that. 08459 455 555. Bill Oddie says we should all have Chinese children. No, hang on a second. Bill Oddie says we should limit the number of children we can have, like what the Chinese do.
We've had a rather radical texter on this one.
Yeah, go on. It's a radical idea.
I don't mean like a skateboarder.
Oh.
Girls aged from 12 to 13 should be fitted with an implant.
What?
This way they don't get pregnant and can have it removed when they're mature enough to want kids. They can do so, thus stopping unplanned pregnancy and birth rates down, says Ben of Buckingham.
You're right, Ben. We should be invading the bodies of 12-year-old girls and putting machinery in there to stop them
what are you
doing
doing,
what's
Mummy?
natural.
Why is this being put in? Can't be trusted.
I think that would encourage bad behaviour.
I think it would.
Could, actually.
08459 455 555. But I do think 2 kids and then, you know, something should get... Jude Law's had 5. He's had a 5th kid with, like, the 3rd or 4th woman. He's like... If there were a Jeremy Kyle for posh people, he'd be on it.
He's doing his bit for the gene pool, though, isn't he?
Oh, flip it. Just put... To quote Kyle, put something on the end of it and don't go on Facebook.
They can do what they want as long as they're paying for it, though, can't they?
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. As long as I'm not paying for it, I'm not bothered. Philip's in South Norwood. Morning, Phil.
Morning, Ian.
Morning,
Did you
Phil.
know that in 1964, Bill Oddie made a record that was banned by the BBC?
Oh.
It's called Nothing Better to Do, and it was all about the Hells Angels and the motorbikes going down to Brighton and smashing up the seafront.
Flipping heck.
It sounds as if it could be about having loads and loads of children.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's a great song. It's on YouTube.
Could you sing it for us?
Well, I've got a couple. I knew you were going to ask that, so I've got a couple of lines here from it.
Okay.
It's your town, others will mend it. Why do you do it? Nothing better to do.
It wasn't banned for being rubbish, was it?
No, come on. No, it is. I bought it, actually, when it came out in 64.
And you were 50 then, weren't you, Phil?
Oh, I'm trying to work out. Well, no. I was just about 20.
Philip, do you... Right, because I know you like watching television, right? Yeah. I don't watch... The only thing I've watched on television in the last 6 months is an American programme called Silicon Valley. Have you seen that?
I'm not... Is it a reality show, Ian, or what?
No, it's a comedy.
It should be.
It's a comedy about these geeks that are programming computers. But it's really, really funny.
What channel is it on, Ian?
One of the Skies, probably Atlantic.
Oh, yeah, no, I must admit, I do catch up occasionally on Google Play with things. I'll tell you one I can recommend.
Yes, Philip.
Motive. Have you seen Motive?
No.
It's a Canadian cop series. Ooh. Really, really good.
Is it all Mounties?
No. What it is,
yes.
You find out the first minute of each episode.
Oh, yeah.
They tell you who the murderer is and who's going to be murdered. You know 44 minutes before the police do.
Well, what's the point? Thank you, Phil. What's the point in watching that, then? If you know who's going to be popped off. And then Nadia Popoff. What?
Yeah. Hey, we've had a reasonable text from Shirley.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Ian.
Shirley not.
Shirley in Milton Keynes.
Shirley not.
No, Shirley in Milton Keynes.
She doesn't call... Hey, Shirley, what you stop calling us for, love? You used to call us. She used to call us. No, she didn't call us no more.
Somebody went and spoiled it all.
Who?
You.
How
Ian,
did I spoil it with Shirley? I didn't spoil it with Shirley. I did not spoil it with Shirley. Shirley, did I spoil it with you?
Yeah.
How?
Hi, Ian, that head
That's
teacher.
like Michael Jackson there. How?
Hi, Ian,
Sorry,
that head teacher. Hi, Ian.
Sorry.
Hi,
Go.
Ian.
Now! Just wait for me to... I'm going to throw it to you, OK? Here's Catherine.
Hi,
with some texts.
Hi, Ian. That head teacher may be celebrating an occasion like a special birthday or an anniversary or attending a family wedding. They didn't go into detail and we shouldn't make assumptions. It's not fair. I don't think she's just having a jolly or she'll be setting a precedent for her staff.
There's no such thing as a special birthday. Hey, since when did adults start taking the day or the week off work of their birthday?
Yeah, do you remember when we tried to get that adult on who's in a position of power who was taking a day off for his wife's birthday?
Who was that?
Your favourite.
Lloydie?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I don't
But
mind
he can do what he wants.
I don't mind him doing that. Dave T has tweeted at Iain Lee, new idea for the show. Catherine, you're going to hate this.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, I've just realised you're going to hate this.
Really?
Catherine collects items from people and gives them to needy children. Okay. Boil in the bag. I am your father, look.
All of a sudden I'm like 9 again and it's horrible going to school.
It's boil in the bum. Now,
that was the one.
It's beef with boil. If you've got a beef with boil, if she said something to upset you or offend you, 08459 455 555.
Or if you'd like to enjoy some beef with me.
Here's something...
You enjoyed some beef with me, didn't you, last week?
It's just a vicious rumour, Catherine. There were no photographs.
It was delicious.
We slept in separate hotel rooms. Here's, speaking of beef... Amanda Holden. She's certainly holding on to something, but I'm not quite sure how. She's wearing a purple dress that goes from top to just below the knee. It's got a zip at the back.
Yeah, all the way up.
But the zip, she's not done the zip up. So instead of doing the zip from the top down to the bottom, well, she's done the zip to the top down to just above the bottom. And she's posted a picture of her backside sticking out of this dress. You know, kind of the way that a tart would do.
Well, I think it's a bit cheeky fun.
That's not cheeky. Would you do that? Would you? In your leather skirt?
It's not got a zip on it.
We can rip it.
Anyway, it looks like she's unzipped her bottom, though. I think it's a bit unfortunate, the positioning of the zip.
Her bottom's out.
Yeah. She's just been cheeky.
Is that definitely on purpose?
Yeah.
Yes, mate.
Because some women accidentally tuck their skirt into their tights.
Isn't that the... does that happen anymore?
Yes.
Do you remember, last time I saw that, it was one of those situations where there was a lot of traffic.
Yeah.
At a standstill, and people were starting to get out of their cars, right? And we saw in the rearview mirror people just creasing up as this woman walked by, and we realised as she walked past why she got her skirt tucked in a kex.
My dress was tucked into my underwear. I walked home from the train station. I got lots of beeps.
And I
was on the phone to my mum, and she was like, "Why is everyone beeping?" I was like, "I don't know. Beep, beep."
I would tell you. I'm always the woman who tells the other woman.
Well, did you tell the woman in this instance? So you're not?
No, I didn't, but someone else did as I was watching and
Catherine,
laughing.
did you have a good weekend?
Yeah.
What did you do at the weekend?
I went out a couple of times.
Liar.
No, I did.
What did you do?
I went to a party, and then I went out for a meal with my friends.
Liar.
No, it's true.
You're a liar.
No, it's true.
Well,
I went to the beach house in St Albans.
Oh, what a liar.
No, it's true.
Fib about how fab your days off are.
I didn't say it was fab, I said I went out.
You've got weekend envy.
Oh.
If you exaggerate how much fun you had at the weekend because you worry that everyone else is having a better time, then you've got weekend envy. I had a miserable weekend. So I don't mind, although I had a beautiful massage.
Massage?
Massage. I had a massage in my pants. Many of us...
I suppose they stay out of your pants, aren't they?
Many of us apparently embellish the truth to impress friends and colleagues and make ourselves seem more exciting. And I suspect that that's what you... Could you stop doing your flipping nails?
I am actually exciting. It's the true fact.
Well, I spent a night with you in Manchester. You're not exciting.
Wow.
Researchers say that 3/4 of adults fear that others are having a better time, and 1/3 of us like to spice things up when asked how our weekends went.
Why don't they just have a fun weekend?
Oh, because it's too much hassle to have a fun weekend.
I can't be bothered normally. To be honest, before this weekend I was really miserable about it, but actually it was all right once I got out. Yeah.
The papers are full of it today. The Mail really is just someone's obviously just sat down and stuck a pen up their backside and just written with their bum.
If they are short on stories, do they just make the font bigger?
Yeah, the fonts.
The font's bigger,
so
and
you
they
get really big
pictures.
fonts. Hey, you know, here's a joke I've not told for 22 years. Let's see if I can remember it.
Go on.
Do you know what? Do you know what Swansea is short for?
Little legs.
Exactly. No, do you know what Swansea is short for? Do you know Swansea in Wales?
Yeah.
Do you know what it's short for?
No.
Well, it used to be called... Just remember this joke. I wrote this joke. Do you know what Swansea is short for?
No, I don't, Ian.
So you can reach the keys. No. Do you know what Swansea is short for?
Little legs.
Do you know what Swansea is short for?
No.
It used to be called Arthur Swanzarelli, but it was so cool... it shortened its name to Swansea.
And the joke is...
Is
there more?
So is it because of the little legs?
Because Fonzie, Arthur Fonzarelli...
Yeah.
And so now he's so cool, he should...
It's like a little Italian-American man. I don't see
it.
what that's got to do with Wales.
Because Swansea... Swansea used to be called Arthur Swanzarelli, but it's so cool it's shortened its name to Swansea.
It's not, though, is it, really? I mean, it's all right.
I don't get it.
You've been to Swansea?
Yeah, I think
it's
so.
okay.
I'm being swallowed by a boa constrictor. I'm being swallowed by a boa constrictor. I'm being swallowed by a boa constrictor. And I don't like it very much. Oh no, he swallowed my toe, he swallowed my toe. Oh gee, he's up to my knee, he's up to my knee. Oh fiddle, he's reached my middle, he's reached my middle. Oh heck, he's up to my neck, he's up to my neck. Oh dread,
You can do it right now, please.
Quick update on the Shirley situation.
Yeah, go on.
Shirley from Milton Keynes. Just to let you know, there's more than one Shirley in Milton Keynes.
No, there's not.
That message was not from the one that Iain upset. From Shirley. Shirley.
I've not upset any Shirleys in Milton Keynes.
Oh, you did.
Kelly did a funny joke.
Why did the lion get lost?
Don't know. Why did the lion get lost?
Jungle is massive.
It was better when you did it before.
Why?
Because jungle is massive!
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to laugh at your jokes, though, because my joke, one that I wrote myself, it's an original, that's genuinely...
Your joke was more of a sentence that didn't really go anywhere.
You're a sentence that doesn't go anywhere.
Oh.
You're
getting nasty.
You're getting nasty.
It's getting personal.
Sorry, you're getting nasty.
Oh.
Personal.
You're personal.
You're too personal.
You're far too personal.
You are a sentence that's going nowhere. Balls.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting off on the M1, it's rather heavy heading southbound between junction 10 at Luton Airport Spur Road and junction 9 for Redbourne. In Harpington, very heavy on St Albans Road at the moment, just around Station Road. And the M25 heading anti-clockwise, very slow moving on the sensors between junction 22 for St Albans and junction 19 at Watford. The M40 heading into London's looking very slow between junction 2 for Beaconsfield and junction 1A for the M25. Possible delays at the moment on Thameslink between St Pancras International and St Albans. This is due to a signalling problem, and delays at the moment on Great Northern as well out of King's Cross following an engineering problem. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
.46. It's Monday the 20th of October. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Community support officers in Bedfordshire have been given new powers to deal with antisocial behaviour. Buckingham firefighters have been tackling a blaze at the Didcot B power station in Oxfordshire, and the head teacher of Elstow School in Bedfordshire is being allowed to go on a Caribbean holiday in term time. Let's get the weather. Here's Kate.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. We've already got a bit of cloud this morning, but it's a mild start. Hanging on to the breeze from yesterday. Not quite as strong, but it is still noticeable. 1 or 2 sunny spells, but also 1 or 2 isolated showers. They'll blow through fairly quickly, though, on the wind, and the maximum temperature getting up to 15 Celsius. Overnight tonight, we're going to see the wind really pick up through the middle part. It's the arrival of a cold front, some heavy rain on the way, but the strong wind is going to develop as we head through to tomorrow morning. The minimum temperature, 9 Celsius. Still very windy tomorrow morning. It's going to be so for much of the day, actually, but the rain will clear south and eastwards. Behind it, some sunshine, some scattered squally showers for tomorrow afternoon. Starting mild, but ending up a lot cooler. The maximum temperature, 14 Celsius, and that's your forecast.
Every weekday from 3.
Good afternoon, welcome to the show.
Local people.
What's your story?
Seems there's a law for them and then there's one for the press, and I disagree with what they're saying.
Local views.
In some cases, sort of 40% loss in value of their properties.
Has Kelly Luton got it right?
There is a responsibility when you're paid from the public purse.
Local life.
Do you want to know how much my carer's allowance goes up by every April when the tax year changes? £2.
Roberto Peroni.
And is it fair to target people on benefits?
Weekdays from 3. BBC Three Counties Radio. Across beds, Herts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Let's be having you. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call now. More social workers and better pay. 2 of the ideas to make sure this summer's damning report into Buckinghamshire's children's services isn't repeated. The County Council is going to spend nearly £3 million dealing with the fallout from the Ofsted report, which rated the authorities' handling of children as the worst possible, inadequate. The council says the reason things slipped so much was that Ofsted toughened up the rules. Well, Angela McPherson is the Cabinet Cabinet Member for Children's Services. Morning, Angela.
Good morning.
So let's just remind ourselves of how bad things were. The failures were widespread and serious. There weren't enough staff to do the jobs, caseworkers, social workers, record keepers, etc. And the care was not good enough. It wasn't brilliant, was it?
No, that's absolutely right. And you mentioned it was a very sobering report. We did have all these challenges with shortages of staff. We still have those challenges and are working on them. But there were also challenges around social work practice, so the quality of some of the work that people were receiving. Again, that's a major issue that we're tackling with our improvement plan.
So how many staff are you short now?
We're short in different teams,
Right.
in different numbers. So the main focus at present is what we call the front door, which is our first response team. That's where all assessments come in the first place. And that was severely criticised by Ofsted, and we're working very hard now to up the number of permanent staff and stabilise that, because at the time it was very heavily staffed by agency staff, and we're trying to turn that round.
So you're aiming to get more staff in. You also said the practices weren't good enough. Was that down to the fact that it was temporary staff that weren't that bothered, or was it training, or what was the problem there?
Certainly there's an area of training that needs to be strengthened and tightened up. Also management ability in terms of consistency with all the staff across all the teams. So there's a whole raft of measures in our improvement plan that we'll be tackling.
It's cost over $1 million so far. Another 1.7 million is going to be spent getting this fixed. Where's that money going to go?
Well, can I just say the 1.7 million has yet to be agreed. A Cabinet this morning will be discussing that. We have put forward a detailed costing plan. Times are very, very tight in all local authorities, so we have to be totally prudent about the way we're spending that money, and I'm actually convinced that the plan that we've got will deliver the changes that we need to make.
The last inspections of the service, 2011 and 2010, I think they found the service to be excellent. How could it go so badly wrong so quickly?
Well, I would say it's not really quickly. The service was found good in 2010-11. Here we are in 2014 being called inadequate. And there have probably been some ongoing issues that have grown over time, but certainly when Ofsted came in, we were, as you said in your introduction, inundated by referrals, increased caseloads, difficulty in recruiting, shortage in workers led to high caseloads for some staff, which was so pressurised that there was a lot of sickness. Really, it was a perfect storm, and that's when Ofsted came in and saw what was happening, I'm afraid.
How soon can you turn this around? How long are we looking at?
Well, if you look at other authorities that have done this, and Cambridgeshire are one, it's taken them nearly 2 years. We're aiming for 18 months. We're being ambitious. We've got an ambitious improvement programme. We want to do the best for the children and youngsters in Buckinghamshire. So we're aiming for 18 months.
What do you think? I don't know if you're aware of Linda Derrick from Wycombe's Labour Group, who thinks you should resign. She works with parents of vulnerable children who rely on Bucks County Council. And she said recently that dealing with the council is like, quotes, hitting your head against a brick wall that doesn't care.
Well, I would dispute that. I'm aware of Linda Derrick. We have responded to her in writing. Certainly the leader of the council has, with the many questions she has. My view is that this is such an important area. It should not be politicised, and young people, vulnerable young people, are not political footballs.
Angela, I appreciate your time. Let's keep our fingers crossed that this turns around. Angela McPherson, Cabinet Member for Children's Services.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Yeah, we heard you scream, Kels. Don't worry. What you got for us, Bob?
Hey, yeah, on the subject
Who's called in for my beef with Boyle? No, my dinner with Andre. No, hang on. Boyle's beef. I got beef with Boyle.
Wow.
08459 455 555. Go.
No, we've had a suggestion for another programme I could do, maybe a cookery programme.
Yeah, go on.
This is from Phil.
All right, Phil.
East End style food programme for Catherine: boiled beef and carrots.
I don't get it.
No,
I don't get it.
No. This is an email we've had through from Anne of St Albans.
Good morning, Anne.
She's our pen friend.
Of St Albans.
You cannot equate the head... this is talking about the head teacher at Elstow School who is taking a week off after the kids come back from their Christmas break. So in term time, she's going off on holiday. And it's led to the Daily Mail saying people are accusing her of hypocrisy. We've not heard anyone say that yet. But More on that in a second. Stay there. And in St Albans, you cannot equate the head being away with the pupil being away. A pupil cannot be replaced, whereas a teacher who has to be away for any reason will be covered by another member of staff or a supply teacher. I see no reason why this head can't be away. If holidays needed, and that will be the only time she can take it, the school will obviously cover her absence.
Are supply teachers still mainly idiots who can't get real teaching jobs?
I used to feel so sorry for them.
I didn't feel sorry for Mr Dennis. Didn't feel sorry for him at all. He come in, I'm going to... What did he say? I'm going to shoot you all with a double-barrelled water pistol. Oh, you're so funny, Mr Dennis. You're not, you're a plum. All supply teachers are plums, aren't they?
I used to see them come in, or the student teachers, and all the kids, all of a sudden, you'd feel the room, just everyone sit back in their chair going, all right, here we go.
My worst outing of school mutiny was when I was 9 or 10. And we had a silly teacher, and Mr Dennis... We did have a silly teacher, I won't say her name, I can't remember it. Mrs Lennon, that was it. And Mr Dennis was supply teaching the other class, and we were playing rounders against the other class, right? And he was like the referee, and he was cheating. He was cheating to a class to win.
Mr Dennis?
Right? So at the age of 9, this is so cool. At the age of 9, my class went on strike, and we all sat down.
Wow.
We all sat down on the rounders pitch and said, do you know what? If you're going to cheat, we're not playing. And Mrs Lennon was shouting at us, and she said, you will get up and play, and we didn't. And we got traipsed back into the classroom where we got a right royal rollicking. And then 2 suckers, I think I may have been one of those suckers, then was publicly shamed and had to go into the other classroom and apologise to Mr Dennis.
Oh. We had a brilliant supply teacher that we used to actually look forward to because she was hilarious. She used to do French.
Yeah.
But she used to speak French with, like, a Luton accent.
Oh.
She would go, bonjour to the classe. Je m'appelle Madame, and I'm not going to say her name, but anyone who went to Redbourne knows who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And she would say, oh, je suis allée bien cute ce weekend. Such a très bon indeed.
Oh,
and we used to love her lessons, love them. Yeah. But here's a text through about this teacher in Elstow.
Oh, yes, go.
And I don't know whether this is true or not. We don't know. It's an anonymous text.
Yeah.
But I'll just leave it dangling for anyone who may want to speak up.
OK.
As a parent of a child at Elstow, all I can say is that you won't get any parent to say on the radio what they really think of Mrs W's holiday, as we are all too terrified of her.
What's your name?
OK, well, if anybody...
That might be mischief-making.
It might be. If you want to call in and not give your name, we can do that, can't we? 08459 455 555.
Or send us a text. Tell us what you think.
Send us a text.
Because she'd been, because I'd be interested to know whether there have been any fines handed out to parents at that school.
Yeah. Richard's in Stevenage. Good morning, Richard.
Morning, Ian.
What you got for us, boss?
Supply teachers.
Go on.
We had a good one when I was doing GCSE English at school. We had quite a strict English teacher, and at the time we were learning Romeo and Juliet. So before the lesson she was going to be away, she recorded Romeo and Juliet off of the TV, the one with Leonardo DiCaprio in.
All right. That's not proper Romeo and Juliet, is it?
Well, it is.
Is it? Oh, OK. Yeah.
So anyway, she brought it in for us to watch with the supply teacher. And when the supply teacher was setting it up, he noticed that she had also recorded the Grand Prix.
So what? Hang on, we lost your line, Richard. Oh no! I have to assume they watched the Grand Prix.
They watched the Grand Prix, yeah, the whole of it.
Wasn't the best lessons were when the teacher couldn't be bothered and they brought in a video. I remember we had what was laughingly labelled sex education lessons. Right, they're supposed to last a term. Surprisingly, for a group of 50-year-old lads, we finished it in 3 weeks. We finished quickly. So, we were allowed to bring videos in. I remember we watched Monty Python and the Holy Grail. And we watched The Meaning of Life one week.
Brilliant.
And it's filthy. And we would just bring in videos. And it was me and my mates. So we'd watch Bit of the Monkeys. We watched some Laurel and Hardy. We were really going through a big Monty Python thing. So we'd just bring in Monty Python we taped the night before.
Sex education classes were always a hoot, weren't they? But you had to hold it in. I remember our teacher talking...
if that's what they taught you, Catherine, then boy, oh boy, no wonder you've got 2 kids.
I remember one of our teachers talking about...
There's more to it than that.
Talking about spoons a lot. And I could never work out how that worked.
You've literally lost me. Have I missed something?
Spooning, do you mean?
I think that's what she was talking about, but she'd say, like 2 spoons. And I was thinking, well, hang on.
So, like, 2 dessert spoons make a teaspoon? Is that what happens?
I think so.
If 2 dessert spoons love each other, they make a teaspoon. Sometimes, unfortunately, they have a soup spoon.
Or a ladle.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The M1 heading southbound very slow on the sensors between junction 13 for Bedford and junction 12 for Flitwick. The M25 is queuing heading anti-clockwise between junction 22 for St Albans and junction 15 for the M4. Take a look at the cameras in Boreham Wood and the Barnet bypass. That's queuing heading southbound between Stirling Corner and Mill Hill Circus. And rather slow on camera on the M40 heading northbound from the Denham roundabout to the M25. On the trains, possible delays on Thameslink between St Pancras International and St Albans. That's all due to a signalling problem. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Nicola. OK, we've gone off into the reminiscences of supply teachers. They're all very odd people, aren't they? And do you agree with Bill Oddie? We shouldn't have more than 2 kids? Speak after the news with Lee.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8 o'clock, I'm Lee Agnew. The headlines: new powers for support officers in Bedfordshire. A third man arrested following Hertfordshire dog attack. And the head teacher of Elstow School takes a holiday in term time.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Community support officers in Bedfordshire have been given new powers to deal with antisocial behaviour. They'll be able to hand out fines and move people causing a nuisance along. Labour councillor Colleen Atkins from the Bedfordshire Police and Crime Panel says it will improve the work they're already doing.
This brings in a lot more centred on victims. It also gives the professionals and their partners flexibility to deal with the difficult and often very sensitive situations. And it also streamlines the powers of tackling antisocial behaviour.
Police have arrested a third man in connection with the dog attack in Hertfordshire, which has left a woman seriously injured. She was attacked by 2 German shepherds near a farm at Great Amwell. Ben Nye reports.
Detectives say a 41-year-old man from Edgware is being questioned on suspicion of GBH and offences under the Dangerous Dogs Act, having been arrested at Hoddesdon Police Station. Paramedics were called to Warren Farm on October the 8th after the woman was attacked in a nearby field. The 2 dogs were captured and around 100 more were found in a compound.
Firefighters from Buckingham have been helping to tackle a blaze at the Didcot B power station in Oxfordshire. Investigators are trying to determine how the fire started at the plant. Dan Meredith from RWE Npower says supplies won't be affected.
There'll be no disruptions to electricity. We have a very resilient network in the UK, and the way the National Grid can operate, they are able to call on other power stations across the country to fill the gap that this power station has left as it's come off.
Buckinghamshire County Council will decide this morning if it's spending millions of pounds improving children's services. A critical Ofsted report has rated the service inadequate, mainly due to a lack of staffing. Elstow School in Bedfordshire is defending its decision to allow its head teacher to go on holiday during term time. Jenny Winder's taking time off in January to go with her partner to the Caribbean. Craig Langman from the campaign group Parents Want to Say says it could easily be seen as hypocritical.
When you've got teachers that are being off because they're going on holiday or they're going to funerals or things that life gets in the way, that's then setting a precedent. So wouldn't it be a lot more harder now for the head teacher to now turn around to parents and say, well, actually, I'm not authorising this holiday and you will be fined? You can imagine the parents are then going to turn around and say, well, you did.
In sport, Andy Murray has beaten David Ferrer to win the Vienna Open. It means he qualifies for the World Tour finals. And the weather will be bright and sunny with showers at times today. Top temperatures around 15 degrees Celsius. That's 59 degrees Fahrenheit. You can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/Three Counties.
BBC Three Counties Radio's big tour of beds, hearts and bucks.
From the top of the Springs, looking down, it really is stunning.
All this week, we're uncovering Barton le Clay.
It's a lovely, friendly village. Everybody knows everybody, and there's plenty to do.
Telling everyone about where you live.
I think we've made more friends here quickly in the 4.5 years we've been here.
The big tour of beds, hearts and bucks. BBC Three Counties Radio.
This is Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. It's not just me, that lady's there.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Me?
Yeah, Catherine Boyle.
Nobody.
Exactly. You're the shade to my light.
Yeah.
You're the yin to my yang.
Mm-hmm.
You're the bad cop to my good cop.
Yeah.
Yeah?
That pretty much sums it up.
Pretty much sums it up. What have we got on the show this morning, Kath?
All kinds of stuff. PCSOs and special powers.
So far, we want to make them invisible and they have the power to turn into lions.
I think that would be pretty good.
It would work, wouldn't it?
That would do. They've got 4 other special powers as of today in Bedfordshire, so watch out if you are thinking about being a little out today.
Because a lion might eat you.
You'll be banged to rights.
And you wouldn't see them coming, they'd be invisible.
We're also talking about the headmistress of Elstow School who has taken a week off during term time. She's going to be going away to the Caribbean in January.
If your kids go to Elstow School, could you give us a call or a text or an email, please? 08459 455 555. What are your thoughts on this headmistress and what she's doing?
Has she been fining parents for doing exactly the same thing, or do you think fair enough, she works very hard, doesn't make any difference, you can always fill behind her?
Also, Bill Oddie has said we should have Bill Oddie has said we should limit the amount of kids we have in this country. I agree. I think it makes perfect sense. You see all these families got 7, 8 kids. Well, you cannot love 7 or 8 kids equally. You can't do it.
Really?
I've got 2 kids. I prefer one over the other. It fluctuates. It's kind of evens itself out, but I prefer one over the other.
Who's your favourite this week?
The youngest.
He's cute though.
He's so cute. But you can't be a good parent if you've got 3 or more kids.
Really?
Yeah. 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
You can't give them the attention they require. We were. I had the 2 boys last night, and we were watching a firework display. And just with the 2 of them, one wanted to sit on my shoulders, and the other one saw that the eldest was and he wanted to sit on the shoulders, so I put him down, and the eldest had a stroke. Oh, it was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Okay, so with 2 kids, it's difficult.
Yes.
With 3, 4, 5, 8 children.
When I was younger, and it wasn't a prospect for me having children, I quite fancied a big brood.
Yeah.
Finances play a part, don't they?
Yeah.
The amount of time you can spend with them is another thing. I have to work, you know. Is it fair to have more than 2?
No.
And also, the Enchanted Wood, that played a part. Well, there were 3 kids there, right?
Yeah.
Look what that mother does every day. I've been reading Enid Blyton's Enchanted Wood at bedtime, can you tell?
I don't remember the Enchanted
She
Wood.
just chucks them out. They go out all day long. They're playing with a man who wears saucepans instead of clothes. They're playing with a moon-faced
Is
man.
that the magic faraway tree?
Yeah, they're up that tree.
Oh.
I mean, it's dangerous. It's dangerous.
08459 455 555. Although I love my kids climbing on trees. My youngest was climbing on a tree. It's a tiny tree in the back garden. It's wonderful. And they're really proud because they can climb up. And he was going to jump off. It's like yay high. So it's what's that? 3 foot high. He's up. And I could... As he tried to jump off, so he stood on it, his foot got caught. So instead of jumping off, he just went...
Oh, dear.
And just flopped over, smacked his head on the ground. Taught him a lesson. He was fine. He cried a bit. Do you know what he did? Went straight back up there.
Yeah, you've got to
he
work out
cried,
what
and I
he
said,
went wrong.
do you want to go in and sit down? No, I want to have another go. Boom! That's what it's all about.
That's a young man growing up right.
Isn't it just? What were we talking about then?
Kids.
Oh, yeah.
How many is too many?
3 is too many. 3 or more. You cannot be a good parent if you've got 3 or more kids. 08459 455 555. Now, litterbugs, noisy neighbours of Bedfordshire, beware. Because, well, there are new rules coming in place today. The county's police community support officers will have 4 more powers to deal with you. The force says that PCSOs will be able to make an even greater contribution to stamping out antisocial behaviour. So, what are these special powers? We can speak to Professor John Pitts, who's a criminologist at the University of Bedfordshire, specialising in youth crime and gang culture. Morning, John.
Good morning.
What are these powers that PCSOs are being given, and why are they being given them? Is it policing on the cheap?
Well, for a long time, one of the problems with PCSOs has been that they haven't had any powers, and you know, there's the old sort of people describe them as plastic policemen, things like that. So one of the purposes of these new powers is to give them a bit of edge to allow them to intervene in situations where previously they could only summon police officers. I mean, to say, is it policing on the cheap? Clearly, all police services have experienced big cuts, and it's hardly surprising that they're beefing up the PCSO's operational role, because otherwise they wouldn't be able to cover the kinds of kinds of responsibilities they have. On the other hand, I think having repealed all of Labour's antisocial behaviour legislation, there has been a gap, and I think this is an attempt by the government to fill that gap by giving PCSOs the power to intervene around litter, around dogs, noisy neighbours, etc., etc.
Lots of people doing this show, we get lots of people who think that PCSOs are a little bit of a joke and they're not very happy to see them. Will this change people's opinions, do you think?
Well, as always, it's how effective that is going to be. Issuing fixed penalty notices to people dropping litter sounds like a good idea, and I think in some cases can be. But if they don't have the money to pay it, if they dispute the fact that it was their litter, you could suddenly find yourself in some very expensive administrative procedures. So, yeah, if it works out, I think, yes, it could beef up the image of the PCSOs. I think the noisy neighbours thing is probably one of the most important, because at the moment, most people you would speak to would say if they do complain about neighbour nuisance, or they do, not very much happens, and the issue gets passed from the police to the local authority and back again. And maybe this will clarify and beef up the kind of response that can be made in a case of neighbour nuisance.
Well, will people listen, do you think, John? Because we do hear stories of PCSOs being told to jog on. Do you think that, if a PCSO steps in with these new powers, are people likely to listen to them anymore?
Well, if they issue a fixed penalty notice, somebody says jog on, they will then have to summon a police officer who will presumably, if it continues, effect an arrest. So I suppose the issue is, over time, if these new powers will seem to bite, if they seem to have consequences, yes, it will change things. If, because the police are overstretched, the PCSOs attempt to do this and nothing much happens, no, it won't.
John, I really appreciate your time as always. Thank you very much indeed. That's Professor John Pitts.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Kath, do you want to come on? We've just had some breaking news. Do you want to come on and tell everybody?
Yeah, really sad. We've just heard that the actress and presenter Linda Bellingham, who'd been suffering with cancer, died yesterday in her husband's arms.
Oh.
That's according to her agent, Sue Latimer.
Was she on Loose Women? When was she on Loose Women?
They've done her sort of farewell one.
Was that yesterday?
I think so. No, it can't have been, not on a Sunday.
It must have been last week then. Yeah, last week. So she passed away yesterday.
I did think, actually, that they were kind of giving her a last hurrah and she might have a few months left. They must have known more than we did.
Yeah.
Really sad.
Isn't that sad?
Really sad. Because I know she wanted to see Christmas.
Thank you for that, Catherine. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. April has turned off her notification thing on her emails, as I asked her to do last week, which is good. Iain, I agree with you on the number of children. When I was younger, there was me and then my sister. My parents divorced, my mum remarried. Gosh, this is confusing. Are you keeping up, guys? My mum remarried and I gained 2 stepsisters and 2 stepbrothers, like what they'd done in the Brady Bunch. My dad then remarried and I had 3 half-sisters. I never got the attention I needed, and I said if I ever have children, I would just have the one, and they wouldn't have to share me, and I wouldn't have to choose. I have the one boy, and even now I struggle not to choose between him, my hubby, my cat, and my hobbies. At least I can say I love him the most as my child. Kids do get in the way of hobbies, don't they? And I like a good hobby. Like hobbies.
Yeah, but they wreck everything, don't they?
Oh, flippin' heck.
You can't have mummy's box of whatever it might be when there are children around.
I bought a really rare boxed record, OK? Only 200 were printed. Cost me $200. You were here when I ordered it. I never got to see that because by the time I got home, they destroyed it.
Oh, but it's not their fault, they're kids.
And yet when I said, why were the kids opening my post? Oh, they like to. Yeah, but I don't want them opening my post. He's ripped my driving licence. It ruined a $200 box set record. There's only 199 now, guys. If you bought one, it's worth even more money because of my 2 plums. What do you call your kids? Plums, isn't it? Yes, that's it.
Yeah, something like that.
That's it. I don't think you should have more than 2 kids. It's selfish.
I remember when we just had the one, getting to a stage where I thought it wouldn't be fair to not have another one because it sounds like you're having a baby for your other baby, doesn't it? But it's not that at all. It's companionship, and I've got a sister, and I wouldn't want to deny my daughter that if I could provide one. So they're fantastic. They're fantastic together. But I do think that
they're not fantastic together.
They are. They get on really well. But I think that the separation in age is important. My eldest was 3 when her sister came along, so she wasn't a baby anymore, and we could talk about the new baby as being our baby, and she was helping me. It wasn't like now all of a sudden you can't sit on my lap because I'm feeding the baby, and she wouldn't understand it.
It's weird, I think, when you've got like a 10-year age gap between kids. That's insane.
It's too much of a separation.
It is a big separation, and the oldest kid, by default, will be pushed to the side because they're old enough to look after themselves.
Or becomes a kind of auntie or uncle rather than a sibling.
Weird, isn't it? 08459 455 555. The writer of Do the Funky Gibbon is speaking sense. If you have more than 2 children, I'm slightly taking his argument a little bit further. You've got more than 2 children, well, you can't give them the attention they require.
Also, on the subject of teachers taking time off during term time, we've had a text through, and again, it's an anonymous one. People don't want to put their names to these. Teachers taking holidays during term time is hypocritical. It sets a bad example of them and us, no matter what excuse the school gives.
Oh, blimey.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting off on the Great North Road, it's queuing at the moment approaching the Black Cat roundabout where those roadworks are continuing. In Milton Keynes, seeing delays at the moment on Standing Way between Newport Road and also Bedford. That's going through the roadworks area there. The M1 heading northbound, there's a lane blocked on the exit slip road just at junction 11 for Dunstable Road. And the A41's looking rather slow on the sensors between the Hemel Hempstead turn-off and junction 20 for the M25. Also queuing on the M25 anti-clockwise between junction 22 for St Albans and junction 15 for the M4. On the trains, delays on Thameslink between St Pancras International and St Albans. Also delays out of King's Cross on Great Northern. This is all due to some overrunning engineering works. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much indeed, Nicola. 8:16. It's Monday the 20th of October. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Community support officers in Bedfordshire have been given new powers to move people along who are being a nuisance. Police have arrested a 3rd man in connection with a dog attack in Hertfordshire, which left a woman seriously injured, and the actress Linda Bellingham has died from cancer at the age of 66. 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio. BBC Three Counties Radio's big tour of beds, hearts and bucks.
It's a beautiful village. We're surrounded by nice open countryside.
From the top of the springs, looking down, it really is stunning.
All this week, we're uncovering Barton le Clay.
It's a super village. It's got all the amenities.
You've got the old part on one side of the A6. You've got the newer part on the other side.
Telling everyone about where you live.
It's a nice atmosphere. People walking the dogs.
In snow, in sunshine, it's beautiful at sunset.
I wouldn't leave it. If you paid me millions, I still wouldn't leave. I love it here.
The big tour of beds, hearts and bucks from BBC Three Counties Radio.
Jonathan Vernon-Smith joins me in the studio. Morning.
Good morning.
What you got on your show today?
Well, of course, we're going to reflect the very sad news that's just come through about Linda Bellingham dying. It's totally sad because she was, of course, wanting one last Christmas, wasn't she?
Yes.
It's obviously all happened very quickly at the end.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that a little later on. But first, on the big phone-in this morning, we're going to be reflecting the story that I know you've been talking about a lot today. I'll be asking, do you have a problem with Jenny Winder having a Caribbean holiday during term time? The head of a Bedfordshire school has made national news today as she's booked a trip to the Caribbean during term time. Jenny Winder, she'll jet off to Paradise just days after pupils at Elstow School return from the Christmas break. What's been the gut reaction from people listening to your show this morning on this, Iain? Are they horrified at her decision?
Well, the thing is, because we don't know if there is a good reason. the Board of Governors has said, we think the reason is valid. So, I don't know, maybe someone over there is dying. If she's going over there for a jolly, I think the mood is that's not very good. But if there is a good reason for it, although saying that, I know we've got a cracking call coming up in a little bit from a parent of that child who goes to that school, which puts things in a slightly different light, yes.
Oh, OK. Well, from 9 this morning, we will continue this discussion. I'll be asking, do you have a problem with Jenny Winder having a Caribbean holiday during term time? 08459 455 555.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Right, 08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. And I think we've got a call coming up in a little bit about that situation. But, here it is. I'm just clicking on the wrong thing. This is what we're talking about this week. Who do you want to do first, Catherine? Justin or Jane?
Let's talk to Jane first.
OK, so this is the school, Elstow School, where Jenny Winder, the headmistress, is going away to the Caribbean in the new year. Jane, you are a parent of a pupil at that school, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Hello.
Hello. So what are your thoughts on the headmistress taking a week off to go to the Caribbean in January?
Well, I think it's terrible because I am actually a lone parent myself with 2 children, and for us to go on holiday each year cost me an absolute fortune to save up and get away. And, if we could go in term time, that would obviously save my family a lot of money and would be a lot easier for us. So I think it's terrible that she's on £45,000 a year and still requests to go in the term time.
There might be some people, Jane. Let me play devil's advocate if you don't mind. Don't take offence. Or take offence if you want. I don't care. Tough that you can't afford to go. If you can't afford to take your kids on, fancy holidays in the summer holidays, well, then why don't you go and rent a caravan in Cornwall or something?
Well, that's actually what I do. That is actually what we do. Yeah, we go away to Great Yarmouth each year. Yeah. But the thing that surprised me the most is actually we had a wedding to go to only 2 weeks ago. Now, sadly, the wedding was back in May originally for a weekend, and sadly the groom's mother passed away of cancer. So the wedding was postponed to, it was about 2-3 weeks ago now, and it was for a Friday. So I actually put in an authorised absence leave form into Mrs. Winder and requested that we had 1 day off on the Friday and my child would be returning on the Monday. This form actually came back declined for legal purposes, that she could not allow my child to have 2 days off. So I obviously went down with the form immediately to the school and said that I'd only requested to have the Friday off, not 2 days, and was quite amazed that the school, between Mrs. Winder and the receptionists, couldn't actually work out the form themselves, and said, I need to know if this has been authorised. And the receptionist said, it should be. And I said, well, I do need to know, as this wedding is a week away. It's quite it's a special wedding because the circumstances behind it, we have to be there. And she said it should be fine. She's obviously made a mistake on the form. Just take the Friday off. So the Friday of the wedding, where my child was a bridesmaid, it was all a hectic morning. I actually received a text from the school stating that my child hadn't attended school that morning, and I actually had no phone call to say my child hadn't turned up for school, and that this would be classed as an unauthorised absence as I hadn't requested the leave. So, as you can imagine, I'm in the middle of getting everyone ready for a wedding, had to ring up the school, and the receptionist said that it hadn't been logged down, they'd look into it, but as it stands, that was an unauthorised absence.
So when you hear about Mrs. Winder taking a week off, and we don't know what the reason is, someone may have, we don't know what the reason is, but that must kind of rub you up the wrong way.
It really rubbed me up the wrong way, considering I only asked for 1 day off on this Friday, and I believe that a wedding is a personal circumstances, and especially the reasons behind it, but perhaps if I'd requested 3 weeks off in the Caribbean for personal reasons, maybe that would have been accepted and we'd have had the time off, so who knows.
Jane, I really appreciate your call this morning. Thanks very much.
OK, thanks very much.
Thanks very much. Nice to talk to you. Well, Justin, you've been to the school, haven't you?
I have. I'm actually outside the school as we speak right now. We have got, by the way, a very, very brief clip of the head teacher to come.
Wow.
But
you heard Jane there, one of the parents. Have you been speaking to other parents? Are they of a similar attitude, or are they supporting Mrs. Winder?
Well, a number of parents, Ian, they don't wish to speak or be named because they fear this could affect any requests for their child in the future.
Right.
However, one lady told me permission for 2 days was refused for her child, and she branded the head teacher here, Jenny Winder, a hypocrite. Another parent did speak on the record. He had to fight very hard to take his child out of school during term time for 2 days. Here's what he had to say. Now, sir, you have a child who goes to the school, and you've tried to take your child out of school during term time. First of all, how did that go?
It was quite hard. Obviously, you struggle. You want to get them away for a break. We had to reappeal a second time to get her out of class, and it was quite a struggle. I suppose a lot of people would give up at that point and decide that they can't take the child, they can't book a holiday or anything else. But due to our persistence, we were quite lucky.
OK, so it took you 2 times to get that permission. Do you mind me asking what the circumstances were, why you wanted to take your child out of school?
Yeah, we wanted to go away. One of my wife's parents was extremely ill at the time. We weren't sure how long it was going to be, that he was going to be around. Fortunately, he is still around. But, of course, at that point of asking, we wanted it to happen.
Yeah.
So that's why we were so persistent.
How interesting. OK, so what's your views then on what's been happening here over the past few days with the head teacher? You know, the head teacher was taking time out in January to go to the Caribbean. Based on your experience, what's your opinion about that?
I must say I sit on the fence a little bit. I mean, we obviously wanted to take our child out. I believe that if you aren't stringent with these things, people would take the mickey maybe, or it would become rife that kids were in and out of school. I also do believe that people do need a rest at points, and people need to go away. If I was in a regular job, I'd probably want time off outside.
You've had all sorts of problems. Very simply, yes or no? Should she be allowed to go away in January?
I think so, yes.
OK, so he came round to thinking yes in the end. What else, Justin?
Well, the head teacher, Jenny Winder, I managed to get a question in earlier. This is very, very brief. It was tough because security is on the gates this morning. So when she arrived, I managed to get this question in before the door was shut firmly in my face. Jenny, I'm just asking you one question. Can I ask you why you're taking time out? Would you like to have your say to parents listening? Jenny?
Private life is exactly what it says, private.
Jenny? That's all we managed to get this morning, Ian, before that door was shut in my face. I've since been back to the school. As soon as I entered the school gate this morning, security came out, escorted me off the premises.
Good, doing their job properly. I respect that.
Yeah, but I made it quite clear to them this morning, the point that I made to you, OK, that this head teacher hasn't had time off during term for 14 years. So this person is clearly dedicated to their job. That there may be a reason that the parents need to know about this morning, and hopefully she'll come on. Now, we last left it that security guard went back into the school, and I said, look, can we have the request put in once more, just to be fair to Jenny here?
Yeah.
Would she like to come on and explain? He then went into the school, passed on that message, came back out to me, and said that she is now in touch with the local press office, and he will let me know if she can talk to us. So, Jenny, if you're listening to this right now, I'm still outside the school.
Yep.
I'll be here till 9 o'clock. The invitation for you to come on and talk live to Ian is there for you, in the interest of fairness.
Very, very quickly, Jane, who we spoke to, I think is still online. Could you just play us that audio one more time? I know it's not great quality, so some people may have missed it. Just put it when you managed to speak to the headmistress.
OK, here we go. Jenny, I'm just asking you one question. Can I ask you why you're taking time out? Would you like to have your say to parents listening? Jenny?
Private life is exactly what it says, private.
So that's what she says.
Justin?
My private life is exactly that, my private life.
Thank you, Justin. Jane, what do you think of that? You heard what she had to say. What are your thoughts? Jane, are you there? Yep. Oh, she's gone. The thing is, that was quite an abrupt tone, not from Jane, from Mrs. Winder.
But then, maybe she didn't expect to see a reporter as she walked into school.
The thing is, I don't think her private life in this instance is necessarily a private life. If she were to come out and say, There's a medical reason. There's a personal reason. If she were to come out and qualify it, because it isn't her private life, because what she is doing flies in the face of what parents are being told in that same situation.
And as the head of the school, she's setting an example.
We don't know if someone's dying. We don't know what's going on. And she doesn't need to give us the details. But if she were to say, look, there's a medical reason, or there is a family, if she was to give us just a little hint that it wasn't a jolly, because we're all now I am assuming, I imagine most people, that she's just off on a nice holiday, which probably actually is inappropriate if she is supposed to be setting an example. And do you know what's changed my opinion? It's the tone of her voice there. It was the tone of her voice. That was very odd. Now, who knows what happened the 2 or 3 minutes before that? I know Justin can be quite forceful, but I also know he treats people with respect when, when he does approach people like that. But, you've heard that, dear listener. Does that change your opinion slightly? 08459 455 555.
The other thing I think we should point out is that she's had a weekend of this. It was in the Daily Mail, for heaven's sake, so she's probably had a hell of a weekend. Let's be fair to her. Jenny, Mrs. Winder, if you are listening, give us a call.
08459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting off this morning in Milton Keynes, seeing delays at the moment on Standing Way between Newport Road and Junction 13 for the M1. The M1 itself is looking rather heavy heading southbound between Junction 12 at Flitwick and Junction 9 for Redbourne. Take a look in Hemel Hempstead, the A41 looking rather heavy moving between the Hemel Hempstead turn-off and Junction 20 for the M25. Queuing on the M25 heading anti-clockwise between Junction 22 for St Albans and Junction 15 for the M4. Take a look at the trains and delays on Thameslink between St Pancras International and St Albans. Also delays on Great Northern out of King's Cross. This is due to some overrunning engineering works. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8:30. I'm Lee Agnew. The headlines. Community support officers in Bedfordshire have new powers from today to deal with antisocial behaviour. The force says it means PCSOs will be more effective in dealing with people causing a nuisance. Police have arrested a third man in connection with a dog attack in Hertfordshire, which has left a woman seriously injured. She was attacked by 2 German shepherds near a farm at Great Amwell. Elstow School in Bedfordshire is defending its decision to allow its head teacher to go on holiday during term time. Jenny Winder's taking time off in January to go with her partner to the Caribbean. And the actress Linda Bellingham has died from cancer at the age of 66. The star of the OXO adverts in the 1980s grew up in Aylesbury. The weather will be bright and sunny with showers at times. Top temperatures around 15 degrees Celsius. That's 59 degrees Fahrenheit.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
The QPR boss Harry Redknapp has described his players as naive after losing 3-2 to Liverpool. Liverpool snatched the points after the home side equalised twice. QPR remain bottom of the Premiership, but Redknapp insists he still has a future at Loftus Road.
It's all rubbish. You can only do what you can do with what you got, and no disrespect, but 7 or 8 of that team that started today played in the Championship last year when we finished 4th from top, And they've worked, we had a couple of games away from home where I felt we, because of the way we tried to play, we'd set up to go well, and we really didn't manage to get after the ball.
There were victories for Luton Town, Stevenage and Wickham, but a goalless draw for the MK Dons. Watford atop of the Championship table after a 3-0 win at Sheffield Wednesday. And the new Hornets boss, Slavica Jokanovic, was pleased with the result.
It's good start. We was make good game, and especially we have some problem in first 15 minutes and last 15 minutes, but we catch the control in many minutes on the game. And for the beginning, I must be happy what my team doing today in the match.
In tennis, Andy Murray is one step closer to qualifying for the end-of-season ATP Tour finals. He beat David Ferrer to win the Vienna Open.
I wanted to try and build up some momentum for next year too. I said when I arrived in China that I wanted to try and get to the latter stages of the events that I was playing between now and the end of the year and play against the top players in those tournaments, just to get into that sort of routine and rhythm again. And I was starting to feel good at the US Open a few months ago, and I wanted to try and continue that through to the end of the year.
And that's BBC Three Counties News and Sport with more at 9 o'clock.
If you hear a whisper, give us a shout.
Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
You got more than 2 kids, you can't love your kids properly. You're doing a bad job as a parent. It seems obvious to me. You can't distribute... The more kids you have, the less able you are to equally and fairly distribute your love
Unless
and
you're
attention.
loaded.
Well,
then you've got time.
Then the nannies distribute the love.
No, if I was
The
loaded,
au
I'd be at
pair.
home. I'd be doing the paint. It'd be great, but I just haven't got time.
Wouldn't
Or
there be
money.
a point when the eldest would start to look after the young ones anyway? It'd be fine.
Well, no, that would not be
Fine.
fine. That would be the bad thing.
It would be the Waltons.
08459 455 555. And Jenny Winder, the headmistress of Elstow School, we just heard her speaking to Justin. She didn't want to give reasons for why she was going away. She said it's her private life. So why should she tell us? Why should she tell us why she's taking time off in term? Catherine, why should she tell us?
Well, Pan Houghton Regis says, why can't parents refuse to give a reason like the head teacher using private life? Also, there are 2 term times coming up for her to go on holiday. Why does she not go out of term time, I think is what he's trying to say.
It's a good argument, isn't it? If the parents have to give a reason, so why shouldn't she?
From the sound of it, she's pretty strict with the parents. That kind of lets her down in this one, I think.
Your kids go to Elstow School, give us a call, 08459 455 555. How difficult have you found it to get time off? David's in Hitchin. Morning, David.
Good morning.
What would you like to say?
She's only doing her job.
What going to the... She's paid to go to the Caribbean?
No, don't go about the Caribbean bit. That's just a cop-out. If I hadn't been on holiday for 14 years, I think she, considering the profession that she's chosen to do, she deserves to go away.
And where did you find out that she hadn't been on holiday for 14 years? Because we don't have that information.
No, you just said it earlier.
No,
you just said it.
No, we didn't.
You did. I heard it. That's why I don't know the woman.
No, we didn't say it. We said she's
when you record it, you mentioned something about she hadn't been on holiday for many years.
No, didn't say that. David,
off track.
No, we're not going. No, this is the track. The Caribbean, the holidays that she has or has not taken, they are the track. No, we said she'd worked at the school for 14 years. At no point have we said she's not had a holiday.
Worked at the school for. Sorry, I thought you. Okay, all right. Take back what I said then. Anyway, point is, I think considering she is told what to do by government, every head in the country and teacher is controlled. It's not parents seem to think that teachers are the making all these decisions on everything. They're only following what they have to do. And I think it's pretty unfair the way it's probably been penciled out. Private life, I can understand why she was a bit shirty with...
Yeah, but why... parents have to justify why they take their kids out of school, even for a day.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
But
they're there for an education.
Well, she's there to manage the school.
Yeah, but we don't know the circumstances. Yeah, but you don't know the circumstances. Ian, listen.
And to set an example.
You don't know the circumstances of what she's really gone.
No,
it might be very obvious.
Well, we don't. But that's what I'm saying. The parents have to justify why they go. So, in some respects, surely she should.
But yes, they do, the parents do, because at the end of the day, their children are there for education. And that's what they've chosen to take the children to school to have an education, and there has to be some rules. You can't have kids just hopping out left,
exactly,
right and centre.
David. So you're agreeing with me. There have to be some rules and examples have to be set, and it could be argued that Mrs. Winder is setting a very poor example. She's setting the example that you can take time off in term and not give a reason for it, and that's okay to do.
But maybe we should be having this discussion tomorrow when we do know the truth. Now, it turns out that she's just having a jolly that everybody seems to be happily wanting to accuse her of, then we might have this discussion tomorrow and be right.
I don't know if you're listening to the same show as us, David, because that's the second thing you've said that's not accurate.
Well, I've come in. Well, I don't normally hear you first thing in the morning. I'm normally somewhere else, but I caught it, so I thought I'd ring in.
I'm glad you've had it.
I've obviously made the conversation a bit more interesting at the moment, haven't I?
In your opinion, David.
No. I'm married to a teacher, so I can understand where the profession is coming from.
Aha! You should have declared an interest at the start, sir.
Well, I thought the young lady I spoke to might have highlighted you on that one.
No, not at all. The way I like to do this, David, is I like to have a conversation. I have the bare minimum of information because I like to have a conversation.
I do apologise because JBS is a nosy Parker and he normally has everything before he even talks to him. So there you go.
That's his
nice
style.
to hear you at the other end of the scale.
I like to have...
I'm married to a teacher and the bottom line is...
So you're saying that if she's off on a jolly, it's inappropriate, and if there are more serious reasons for it, then it's appropriate?
There could be, yeah, because obviously I think you'll find that every teacher head, anybody in the teaching profession is completely stressed out with this whole industry, if you want to call it an industry.
So a week off in the Caribbean should soothe their nerves.
I wouldn't mind going there.
No, nor would I.
I wouldn't mind going there. It's a nice time to go, isn't it?
Yeah, apparently so, David. Apparently so. Best time to go. A little bit cheaper as well. Oh, dear. Thank you, David. No, I get... Shall I explain the way this works, dear listener? I get little notes on my screen, and all it said on my screen was call that teacher, Fader 1, David in Hitchin, on Winder's side. And that's kind of all I like. Because I like to have a conversation and get it out. You may tell more stuff to Kelly or Catherine, and that's fine. And sometimes if they think it... they might put more information on my screen. For example, next caller, kids, Fader 2, Annie and Bushy. Furious about your too many kids comment. She has 2 but is 1 of 10. Let's find out why she's furious. Morning, Annie.
Oh, I tell you, I'm really, really upset with you this morning.
It says furious on my screen. Are you furious?
I am, and you've put off my Parkinson's because I'm so annoyed at you.
I've done what to your Parkinson's?
You set off my Parkinson's.
Well, no, with the greatest respect, Ali, I've not set off your Parkinson's.
Well, you got me so annoyed. Now, listen, don't start interrupting. Don't be rude like you always are to everybody.
You just accused me of setting off your Parkinson's, which is absolute nonsense.
My mother had 10 children.
Oh, dear.
Yes.
Which one did she...
Dear? No one else had to keep money, my mother and father.
Which one did she love the most?
None of us. We were all loved equally.
I don't believe that.
Well, that's your opinion.
Yes, yeah, okay.
But you see, the thing is, you're always moaning about your sister doesn't do this and this. So listen, we looked after our mother. We loved
Never
our
moaning
mother.
about my sister. I love my sister.
My father and my mother were the only two that we didn't have to depend on anybody else. And we were well fed and everything else. And you have really, really annoyed me this morning. You should keep them sort of opinions to yourself and find out what other people are like and what their families are like. We were all treated exactly the same.
You're right. You're right, Annie. You're right. We shouldn't express opinions that are different to yours, should we?
No, not just mine, dear, because you don't let anybody else have another opinion.
Well, I'm letting you talk, Annie.
Oh, that makes a damn change, doesn't it? I'm really furious with you. I really am. My mother loved every one of us exactly the same, and all my friends that I went to school with. They were all big families and exactly the same, and there was no trouble. We never had a policeman to our door, and I had 4 brothers, and there were 6 girls.
I don't quite understand what the police point has to do with anything, but...
We were all brought up properly and loved.
There's a problem.
Properly and loved.
There's a problem, isn't there, with overcrowding in this country, and it's Bill Oddie.
Well, we didn't live in this country.
Annie,
we lived in Ireland, and no one had to pay for it.
Annie, you're accusing me of not letting people speak, and yet that's exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, but it makes a change, doesn't it, Ian?
You're right. It makes a change to have a rude woman on the phone. It's Bill Oddie that has put forward the opinion that we're having too many kids in this country, and we should have a limit on it. I'm assuming you disagree with that.
No, I don't disagree with that.
Oh.
Not now. I'm 75.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting you have any more.
No, I'm 75, and that was in a different time. But all right, now people are having babies, and they're not even married, and they're having from one man, another man, and so on.
Well, hang on, they're married. What's the okay? Annie, you're doing what you've accused me. You're making judgments about their families. What's it got to do whether they're married or not?
No, but what I'm saying is, when my mother and father were married, and
what's the marriage thing got to do with it?
It was them two that brought us up, and they paid for everything for us, and we were all loved exactly the same.
I get it. So as long as your opinion is right and everybody else's is wrong.
No, I'm just saying it's not everybody who is unloved. We were definitely loved.
Go and have a cup of tea and calm down. Thank you. We'll put that in the podcast, please, Kels. John's in Luton. Morning, John.
I'm actually in Bedford, but good morning.
Good morning, John.
Yes. Go on.
Well, you called me. What would you like to say?
I can't understand what the fuss is about this head teacher. Now, I can understand that any person who's head of an organisation has to lead by example.
Yeah, and there's the problem.
Well, the fuss is that kids are not allowed out of school because it will affect their education. I would say that it's a different situation, apart from leading by example for the head teacher. Now, you don't know what the situation is for her, but if she's got proper cover for the job she's doing, I can't see what the fuss is.
But this is a school where we've already heard from one parent who couldn't get permission to take her kid out for one day to go to a wedding where the groom's mother had died of cancer. That's why it had been moved to a weekday. So you see there is a certain amount of hypocrisy there?
I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't know what the circumstances of individuals are, but if you've got let everybody's kids leave school.
We're not asking. We're not, John. We're not asking to let everybody's kids. You've contradicted yourself a few times. We're not asking everybody's kids to be allowed off at the same time. We've heard from one parent who had great difficulty getting their child off for one day to attend a wedding that had been moved from a weekend to a Friday because the groom's mother had died of cancer. And you started off by saying that teachers should be leading by example. Well, that's a pretty... But do you not see the contradiction in what you've said then? Because if that's the example she's setting, that's a pretty poor example, isn't it?
No, that's the only criticism you can have. But the reason the setup, you're thinking that it's wrong by leading by example, is she does a job of work. She should, providing it doesn't affect the children's education.
Well, supposing it doesn't affect the children's education to take a week off school, should that be okay?
You're interrupting me again. I'm just saying...
Well, because your line's breaking up, so I'm not sure if it's your rubbish phone or if you're taking a breath. Let's assume you're taking a breath. So if taking a week off doesn't affect the children's education, that's okay then?
Well, that's an argument in itself.
Well, I'd like you to respond to it.
Well, I mean, that is the reason the rule is made, and as one of your callers said...
Answer the question, John.
I didn't get the question, I'm sorry.
No, I know, so I'm going to ask you again. The question is, if a child takes a week off school and it doesn't affect their education, is that okay?
Well, that shouldn't be a problem.
There we go, fantastic, then we're sorted. 08459 455 555. Why has everyone got a cob on? Is it cob on Monday?
Well, we've got a bit of a cobby text as well here.
Oh, blimey.
From Mick in Luton. This head teacher story is a complete non-story. Wise up, BBC. Private means private from Mick, I'm assuming the radio editor from Luton. Thanks for that, Mick. We've also got, it may only be a week, but the kids are told every day is important. If it's not for a funeral, then parents get questioned about it. Why shouldn't she? That's from Maff in Hanslope. And Jay in Luton, I think that's who we spoke to before, who was suggesting that you said that she'd had 14 years without a holiday.
If you're going to phone up and have a pop, make sure you've heard what you think you've heard.
Well, they're saying you need to listen to Justin's interview again. It sounds like Mrs. Winder has worked at the school for 14 years and has never taken a holiday outside school term before. Yeah,
that's right.
She hasn't had a holiday for 14 years. And here's another one.
What is going on? Do you know what? I don't think they deserve this morning. They're not listening. Clean your ears. I'm tempted to just turn the radio off and have 15 minutes of silence.
Bit of thinking time. Debbie says, good morning, Ian. Reteacher's holiday. It smacks of do as I say, not as I do. Totally wrong in my opinion, says Debbie. And if someone is ill or dying, then surely this headmistress would go now rather than in January.
I think exactly. Listen,
I think
Sue and
Welling.
Thank you for those, Catherine. I see there's another phone call coming in. OK, so I think we can agree, can't we? Although the last caller wouldn't. If she's going for a serious personal family reason, that's probably fine. If she's going on a jolly, that's probably not fine. Can we agree on that? 08459 455 555. And thank you to all the people on Twitter who enjoyed the last 5 minutes.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
In Milton Keynes, seeing delays at the moment on Standing Way in both directions between Newport Road and Junction 13 for the M1. The A1M's looking rather slow moving on the speed sensors just around Junction 8 for Stevenage. And the M25 heading anti-clockwise is queuing at the moment between Junction 22 for St Albans and Junction 15 for the M4. And take a look at the M40 heading into London. That's looking very heavy between Junction 4 for the High Wycombe Handycross roundabout and Junction 1A for the M25. On the trains, possible delays of up to about 15 minutes on Thameslink between St Pancras International and St Albans. It's all due to a signalling problem. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Nicola. I think we may pretty much have filled the podcast with content from today's show. That first angry caller and the lady, please, Kelly. I don't need to tell you. Kelly produces the podcast, and boy, oh boy, we've had nearly 300,000 downloads of the podcast. Primarily Kelly's doing. Kerry was my first girlfriend. That's how I think of you, Kelly. 8:47, it's Monday the 20th of October. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. Police have arrested a third man in connection with a dog attack in Hertfordshire, which left a woman seriously injured. Community support officers in Bedfordshire have been given new powers to move people along who are being a nuisance. And actress Linda Bellingham, who grew up in Aylesbury, has died from cancer at the age of 66. More of your calls on this, teacher, more from what the parents outside the school think. By the way, Mrs Winder, headmistress of Elstow School, please do give us a call. 08 459 455 555. Would love to hear your side of the story. Let's get the weather. Here's Kate.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Good morning. It's a mild start to the day. We've got some sunshine out there as well, so quite a bright start across many areas, but already the clouds starting to move in past Milton Keynes. It's just working its way south and eastwards. We could see one or two showers developing as well through the course of the day, but they will blow through fairly quickly on the breeze. It's not quite as strong as yesterday, but still noticeable. Maximum temperature getting up to around 15 Celsius. Now, overnight, the wind will really start to ramp up a notch as we head through the middle part of the night. Very windy, strong winds developing, particularly over higher ground as well. So places in the Chilterns in for quite a breezy night. Well, all of us are, to be honest. Minimum temperature down to 9 Celsius. So this rain, the rain associated with this wind, some heavy bands of rain pushing through fairly swiftly. It's a cold front. Once they clear, we should get some sunshine tomorrow. Scattered heavy showers, but the wind will persist. Maximum temperature tomorrow 14 Celsius, and that's your forecast.
Across Beds, Herts and Bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Hey. Can we just have a breather for a second, Kath? Because that last 10 minutes was hard work, and I suspect the next 10 minutes are going to be hard work. What are we to remind the listener what we're talking about, please?
Well, in this particular instance,
yes.
How could they forget? We're talking about head teacher of Elstow School, Mrs Jenny Winder, who has been granted leave during term time.
She's going to the Caribbean for a week.
What it is.
Yeah, in January. We don't know why she's going.
She's citing personal reasons, and the governing body have thought that it was justified, and that apparently is that.
08459 455 555. Justin is at the school. We'll speak to him in a second. Before that, Louise is in Slip End. Good morning, Louise.
Hi, Iain. You okay?
I need to calm down a bit. I'm going to do some breathing, but yeah, I'm fine. What have you got for us?
Well, about this head teacher.
Yeah.
I don't think the council would have valid her to have a holiday unless it was really essential. And we don't know for a fact that I hope she's not ill, or maybe one of her family are not well, or maybe one of her family are having a baby that week and they need her. She's got offspring that live there. But you see, should she need to tell everyone? Because she's in a public eye position, and if it is something private and confidential, that would affect everyone that's with her and how they see her. Yep. Whereas maybe if a parent goes into school and has got some medical condition, that is just for the person that needs to know about it. But for someone in the public like that, everybody will know everything. And, she has confidentiality as well, and she's entitled to that.
The thing is, Louise, that this has been all over the newspapers, so she must have been expecting some sort of question when she came in. Maybe not from Justin, who is expecting that, for flipping heck, but, from the parents. She doesn't need to give specifics, does she? But perhaps it would take the heat off herself a little bit if she would just give a hint, really. Yeah, because it's the example she's setting, isn't it? And apparently she's been very strict with parents in the past, so she must be expecting this.
Well, I'm sure she is, but there must be a valid reason. And, a little hint is like a Chinese whisper. She might be having something cut off her toe, but by the time the Chinese whispers have gone through the school playground, she'll be having her head amputated.
That's a brilliant turn of phrase you've got there. What's interesting, you said that, there must be a good reason.
Yeah.
Well, but we don't know that, do we? We don't know that there's a good reason. I would like to think there is a good reason, and I don't think, if there is someone in it is ill or there is a baby or something, then we don't need to know the full details. But at the moment, by saying nothing, we are suspecting the worst.
That's the way, Iain. What if something, I hope it doesn't, but what if something was really wrong with you or your mum? Yep. You might want the whole world to know. Catherine might just say, Ian's gone off for personal reasons, and because people...
Yeah, but Ian's not telling you have to stay or you'll get a fine.
Well, no.
Exactly. It's a different scenario, isn't it? If Catherine had to come to me every time she was... If you, Louise, had to come to me every time you didn't want to listen to the show, and I'd get... Well, Louise in Slip End says she can't listen to the show today because she wants to go and hang out with her mates. Sorry, we're not having that. It doesn't work like that, does it? I'm just a blooming bloke who talks nonsense on the radio.
Yeah, you're right there.
Steady.
But the thing is, if she's not a lady that's had a lot of time off, people have to expect her, her confidentiality. I mean, if she doesn't normally have a lot of time off, there must be a valid reason. I mean, unless she's won a competition and it's the only week she can take it. Maybe she's going for a job interview.
In the Caribbean,
Harry's starting the rumours.
Well, this is the thing. There must be a valid reason, said Louise. Well, must there? We don't know. This is it, we don't know. Justin, you've been at the school all morning, haven't you, Just?
I have, and in the last few minutes I've approached Jenny Winder again, who was outside the school welcoming parents in, so she's certainly not hiding this morning, Ian. I said to her, look, Jenny, we're just trying to get your story across this morning. Can you answer a couple of questions for me? Again, with quite an aggressive tone, she said to me, my private life is my private life, and then she then walked towards the school where there was a line painted on the ground, and she said, I'm going to stand here, this is private property, you can't come any further. So again, she has refused to answer any of our questions this morning, which is slightly disappointing because I was hoping she may have come out and said something today, but all we have is my life is private, and it's exactly that. But lots of parents are turning up. Somebody again has come up to the radio car here. We'll try and get a word in with them in a second, but I spoke to a parent a few moments ago, Ian. Here's what they had to say. OK, madam, outside the school, don't want to be named this morning, I respect that, but what's your reaction to the head teacher here taking time off in January to go to the Caribbean?
I think it's absolutely disgusting. I've been fined twice for taking my children out of school. I put a request in to take them out for next year and it got refused. So I think she should either give us an explanation why she's taking time off because she hasn't explained herself, or at least grant people holiday to do it themselves.
When I approached her this morning, she said to me, my private life is exactly that, private. Again, can we get your reaction to that as a parent who's had permission refused yourself?
Yeah, why should we have to justify it then? Can't our private lives be private as well then? Also, I feel that why should I get penalised for not being able to afford to take my children out in out of term time? I can only afford to do it in term time, so she's taking family time away from me from refusing to be able to do it.
So that's what you were looking for the time for? You wanted to take your children away on the holiday because it's cheaper? They weren't circumstances involving a death in the family or anything like that?
No,
it was purely holiday because it was cheaper?
Holiday, yeah, because it's cheaper, but I don't see why we should be penalised because we're not a family who's got an income high enough to be able to afford an out-of-school holiday.
So there you go, Ian.
Well, the thing is, and we don't know, and there might be a valid reason, and if there is a valid reason, if there is a valid health reason, then for goodness sakes, I apologise for pursuing this, but all she needs to do is to diffuse the situation completely, is come out and say, look, there is a health reason. That's all she needs to say. Situation gone.
Especially because what she's being accused of here is being high-handed. Oh, brilliant. So
absolutely. I mean, somebody's come up to the radio car. Brief point here from Michelle. Michelle, you're a parent. You've heard some of the coverage this morning, and you think it's vastly unfair on Jenny Winder. Tell us why.
Absolutely, yes, I do. Jenny Winder having leave doesn't actually affect the children's education, and therefore isn't really an issue. It's a government issue. They have the right. She has the right to request leave.
She's turning it down for other people, though.
She is, because that's what she's legally obliged to do, because that's what the government want her to do.
But it's not fair, though. Surely that parent we just heard from there was refused permission twice to go away with her children, and she's doing it herself. Surely you can see that's not right, is it?
I think again, it's a government issue. It's, they haven't defined what exceptional circumstances are. Now, we have exceptional circumstances. My family is huge. I have 8 children, so therefore I do have exceptional circumstances in terms of going on, if I wanted to take annual leave or anything else, job at work and that. So therefore we need to make sure that the government define exceptional circumstances in the case of teachers and in the case of pupils.
OK, got to leave it there. Thanks, Michelle. But again, with these circumstances, Ian, coming up to January with this holiday in the Caribbean, Jenny Winder, we don't know those circumstances. I'm still outside the school this morning. Jonathan will be doing his phone in between 9 and 10. Let me just get that invite out there once again across Beds, Herts and Bucks. Jenny, if you're listening to this, we're here in our radio car. Please just come and talk to us. Explain to the parents of the school why you're taking that time off in January.
As far as Justin, excellent stuff. Thank you very much, mate. As far as I'm concerned, for me, that one simple sentence could diffuse the whole situation situation, certainly as far as I'm concerned.
It could stop comments like this, for example, from John in Datworth on the text. Head teacher, Mrs. Winder's time off school, even for personal reasons, is hypocritical. It sounds as though she's declined applications from parents for legitimate reasons, and her attitude when asked by Justin was, in his view, disgusting. Shirley in Luton says, if parents have to give their personal reasons for taking their children out of school during term times, then why shouldn't the head teacher give their personal reasons to parents? And Helen in Luton, I have 5 weeks holiday per year. Teachers are off for 13 weeks. I was expected to take my children on holiday during those 13 weeks they had off. Surely there's nothing that important that she couldn't have arranged during the 13 weeks she already gets off. It doesn't matter if she's worked 14 or 4 years without time off during term time. Parents are not allowed to do it, so why should she? One rule for her, one rule for the parents.
Richard, you got 30 seconds. Last call on my show. What do you want to say?
Blimey, what storm in a teacup. Several points, but does she actually teach lessons? And she's like a captain of a ship. Captain of a ship goes to bed at night and sleeps. They have a well-oiled machine under them.
No, it's all about the example that's being set. It's all about the example.
You don't compare teachers with children that need to learn. It's ludicrous.
No, they're setting an example. Teachers have got excess amount of holidays in the to take. It's about setting the example, Richard.
No, it's not, because they are children. They are there to learn, and that's for the reason.
Teachers are there to teach, and headmistresses are there to headmistress.
Yeah, and she's running a team of people, and one of them could substitute for her lessons. And it may well be to the pupil's advantage to have a different teacher teaching that subject than the normal teacher.
Richard, we've got to end it there. It may well be to the pupil's advantage to have a teacher come in and do something different for a week without any consistency or follow-through. Thank you, Richard. The debate continues with JVS now. 08459 455 555. If you call that number now, you might speak to one of my team. You might speak to one of his when they turn up.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Starting off on the M1 heading southbound, we've had a call in from Mark saying it's very busy around junction 10 due to an accident that's happened there. Looking in Milton Keynes, seeing delays on Standing Way between Newport Road and junction 13 for the M1. Taking a look so far at the M25 heading anti-clockwise, it's queuing between junction 19 at Watford and junction 16 for the M40. And in Borehamwood on camera, it's queuing on the Barnet bypass at the moment between Stirling Corner and Mill Hill Circus. Nicola Richards, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Nicola. Thank you, callers. Hey, great work, Justin. Well done. Thank you, Kelly. All right, love, that wasn't bad. And even Catherine Boyle managed to pull something out of the hat. Back tomorrow at 6. Until then, from us, ta-ta.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Iain. Good morning. Welcome to the JVS show. I'm Jonathan Vernon-Smith. It's Monday. It's 9 o'clock. And on today's Big Phone In, do you have a problem with Jenny Winder having a